Put the children to bed. It's time for Dan and Aldo to bare their souls.
I love the Chicago Bears more than I do masturbating, and that is a lot.
Then, with 3 seconds left, Bob Avellini throws a 30-something yard touchdown pass to Greg Latta, and the Bears win, and I literally shit my pants. I swear to God, I literally did.
Eric Kramer, for me, I love the guy. He's a tragic figure. I mean, he embodies all that is.
If they don't run the ball here, I'm going to vomit. I swear to God.
Look, I don't mean any disrespect. He just didn't play that well. Not for a guy of his caliber.
You know, they won, but I'm going to be miserable all week because they stunk.
I don't really have any recollection of that at all, but I guess perhaps I blacked it all out.
So, Dan, tape is the ultimate tool for scouts and for coaches to evaluate players, to detect plays and so forth. And they spend hours looking at tape, right? Why do they so often get shit wrong?
I love the efficiency of bourbon.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan and Aldo.
Dan Aguirre, how are you, my friend?
I am about to complete another concert purchase, but I've got a couple of friends going in on it, but I'm still an idiot. I waste so much money on this shit, Aldo. I can't be stopped.
Who are you going to see now?
For like the 15th time, the band Korn, Wednesday, September the 18th. But again, I got a couple of friends that want to go in on it too, so.
Sounds good. Anywhere near your home, or is
yeah, it's Charlotte. Charlotte's an easy drive for me.
Okay.
Charlotte's like 2 hours, a little over 2 hours, so it's an easy trip. Go down, watch the show, come back the same night.
Now, I know the last time you went to see a show, you said that you started to feel like you're getting a little too old for it.
Yeah, exactly. But the Korn, they're commemorating the 30th anniversary of their first album in 1994, so I figure it'll be a bunch of old fucks like me, you know?
I love it.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that's where we are in life now.
Yeah, I hear you, man. And that's the only way these guys can make money now is on concert, because they're not making
concerts and T-shirts. That's it. Because nobody buys the records anymore.
That's not right, man.
Yeah, that's why T-shirts are like $45 a piece now, and that's why.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I mean, that's how they make money. Like you said, no one listens. Everyone steals their money or their music, you know? Yeah, or we're in a culture where younger people just don't buy albums.
Yeah, right.
But we'll stream it. We'll stream it.
And you know it's going to come back eventually, right? Like vinyl has come back. Obviously not the record sales as years pass, but you want that physical thing in your hand, a CD, an album, as opposed to everything being digitized.
I would think so, but younger people, it's not their thing. Actually, Rolling Stone had an article at one point where they were saying younger people were buying albums, vinyl again, because it was like the cool thing to do, but they actually didn't even have a record player. It was just like a status thing. Mm. So they were buying vinyl shit, not opening it, and just like, look at me and my vinyl, but they had no intentions of listening to it.
That's stupid.
I agree, man. I'm a CD kid, so I'm a Chicago Bears kid too, if you want to transition.
Yes, that's an excellent transition.
Thank you.
We got a lot to talk about regarding our Chicago Bears. We had Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren and Matt Eberflus meeting the media at the owners meeting. We got new rules to talk about. Have you heard about this new kickoff rule, Dan Aguirre?
Yeah, it's a little bit confusing in terms of the zones and stuff, but the main thing I took from it is that it sounds like they want more kickoffs. So apparently everyone, now, for years, our whole lives, if someone goes to kick, everyone takes off running full speed. So now everyone is precluded from moving until the ball touches the receiver, I think.
That's correct.
And there's no more. They had like a season where you could do, a fair catch on the kickoff. That's gone. And now if it does go into the end zone, it's at the 30. And what else was it? There was something else that was different about it.
Well, here's the NFL videos released this video saying the kicking team will kick off from its own 35-yard line, and the other 10 guys will line up on the other team's 40-yard line. And a minimum of 9 players from the receiving team will line up between the 30 and 35-yard lines. And the play begins when either the ball is caught or hits the ground in this landing zone or is returned from the end zone. Any kick that hits in the landing zone must be returned. Any kick that bounces from that landing zone into the end zone must be returned or down by the receiving team for a touchback and possession at its 20-yard line. And if a kick fails to reach the 20, the receiving team can take the ball at its 40-yard line. If the ball enters the end zone in the air, then the receiving team can return it or down it and take possession.
Hold on. Go back one more second. I apologize.
That's all right.
The one about the 40. Say that again. Can you repeat that one for me?
Shit, man. I don't have the opportunity.
Oh, it's okay. I'm sorry. So if the kicking team kicks it, the receiving team, if it doesn't go a certain amount of distance, can say, all right, we want the ball at the 40-yard line.
Correct. No, they can't say. Wait a minute. Let me. I can't fast.
I'm sorry.
This fucking thing. But your question is if the ball goes into the end zone?
No. If it goes prior to a certain distance, you said they could get it at the 40 if it didn't go into the landing zone.
Right.
Like if it's a shitty kick.
It's coming up. This video was produced by NFL operations, and so that's why it's so fucked up.
And one thing while this is loading is there's no surprise onside kick either.
Until the fourth quarter. You can do a fourth quarter, but you're right. It's not a surprise. You got to announce it. Here it is.
So you can only do it in the fourth quarter?
Hold on. If the kick fails to reach the 20-yard line, the receiving team takes possession at the 40-yard line. If the ball enters the end zone in the air, the receiving team can return it or down it and take possession at the 30. If the ball goes out of bounds, the receiving team takes possession at its 40-yard line. And there's onside kicks that are only permitted in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
And I think you got to announce that you're going to do the onside kicks. So I don't think.
I mean, that won a Super Bowl for the Saints to start the second half. That surprise onside kick, Super Bowl 44.
Yep. Now I got this. This was adapted from the XFL. Eric Galko, who was his head of the Shrine Bowl, he worked with the XFL. He and a guy named Sam Schwartzstein and a bunch of others came up with this rule. Pete Gabriel was involved a little bit as well. This is a highlight of it being used in
kicker from the 30. Return team lined up at the opposite 30. Can't move to the ball is fielded. And here goes Keith Mumphrey. And they're going to turn it around with room on the near side. And for the first time, they get creative. And the Battlehawks have the sideline. And a kickoff return from Joe Powell to the end zone. And now they say he stepped out. No, touchdown, St. Louis.
So it's going to encourage more run backs, and because the players aren't running that long a distance and gathering speed to make the tackle, it's going to result in fewer injuries. The Bears only had 23 kickoff returns last year, and a few years ago they had like 60, 70. So kickoff returns were just evaporating, and so they looked at this rule and said, you know what, we can bring some more excitement into the game and make it safer if we implement this rule. What do you think?
I mean, we were Devin Hester fans. I mean, we like the kickoff.
Yes.
And I mean, how many times did we just see, it's a kick, it's a touchback, it's a touchback.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could bring back the excitement of that, but that could lead to us being frustrated when we got the Packers and we finally got to beat a kickoff return. So you never know, man, how it's going to go.
Excuse me. It also puts onus on the kickoff man, the kicker, to put the ball in a perfect spot. Like, so for instance, you want to coffin corner him, but if it goes out of bounds, the ball is on the 40. So you got to be really careful about keeping it inbounds and trying to seal that guy in the corner. So if he wants to get to the middle of the field, he's going to have to run 25 yards to get to the middle of the field. He'll have I think Hightower, who is also involved in the implementation of the rule with the XFL, I think he's going to have some ideas on how to minimize the effectiveness for the receiving team, but it's got to be executed by Santos and the other guys. The other thing that I heard is that it's more of an opportunity for guys like Roshan Johnson and running backs, because it really does feel like a run play. You pick your hole, you got blockers in front of you, as opposed to more traditional kick return guys. So maybe Velus Jones is out of a job. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. It seems like the Bears brass, he's blackmailing them.
Yes, it could be. Now, the hip drop tackles are another thing that are going away. Now, are you familiar with the hip drop tackles?
I did not know that term, but I've seen a couple of plays, and I saw that Kyle Long was talking about an athlete, one of them that said it ended their career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a dangerous play, but I don't know how you're going to enforce this.
Yeah, so I fear the officials just getting this wrong. I hope that they can just say, all right, we'll fine your ass on Tuesday, and not try to call it in the game, because if they call it in the game, it's just going to give the officials something else to fuck up.
Well, you're absolutely right, because they're going to miss this a lot. But what the league is going to do is make an announcement on fines either on Monday or Tuesday. So when it happens, when somebody hip tackles a Chicago Bear, we're going to be swearing and fucking pissed off, and the league will try to make us feel better by finding the culprit on Monday or Tuesday. Bullshit. That's not going to make us feel better.
Right.
Unbelievable. I don't know.
I saw that the timeout thing's different too, or the challenge thing. Before you had to get both of your challenges correct, and now you only have to get one correct to get a third one.
Exactly. See, I'm not sure I like that rule, because it's just going to add more time to the game. And now they're going to have more penalties to call with this tackle thing. You're trying to reduce the length of games, not add to them. What do you think? Another timeout.
I don't know, man. The other challenges, I like it sort of, because the referees blow so many calls.
Man, that's true. But that's the other thing is that, so many times, how many times have we seen a replay say, okay, that's definitely a fucking fumble. After further
and then they
review,
still get it wrong.
Exactly. It's like, what the fuck? Not even the replay can help these guys, these fucking
exactly.
What I was hoping for is we are switching to full-time referees. This is going to be their schedule. On Tuesday, they get together and massage each other's shoulders. On Wednesday, they do their feet. On Thursday, they do the groin area. And then they travel to their games. No, but really, they need committed refs. I don't know how you can do that job and then go to work as a bank president on Monday morning. I don't get it. But
did you see that there was some kind of, it was in the story that you sent me, mm-hmm. and it's something you always talk about, how can you have all these great cameras for Sunday Night Football and just neglect the earlier games? But at the very end of the story, I'm pulling it up now. Mm-hmm. I think it was in this Pro Football Talk. Yeah, here it is. For the 2024 preseason, the league will expand the use of, quote, Hawkeye video technology in the coaches' booths in preparation for full implementation by 2025. Hawkeye video sounds like something you would advocate. That's kind of what you've been saying.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I'll do some more research on that. I missed that when I sent that to you.
It's the very last talking point at the end of that article you sent me.
Okay. See, that's the thing is you should not allow officials to rely just on what the broadcast stations are sending to you. Some games, there's 12 cameras. Some games, there's 50 cameras. So are you saying that the Bears and Bucks game that's only got 12 cameras is being as well officiated as a primetime game that has 50 cameras? Of course not. It's not fair. I don't get the to me, this just seems rational. It seems like obvious, so maybe this Hawkeye thing is the thing that I've been looking for. There should be a camera at each end zone marker on the pylons, on the first down stakes. There should be an overhead camera that travels so that you can have an overhead look at goal line situations, first down situations, and what have you, and a few other cameras that are just NFL cameras if the broadcast station is not supplying those. I mean, they're trying to do an aesthetic broadcast. They're going to be following the ball. They're not following where the ball, the guy was tackled and shit.
It sounds like all these rules aren't necessarily bad. I mean, we're critical of the league in a lot of ways, but it sounds like they are trying to, okay, we have injuries. We have to take this away, take that away. Well, let's try to make it more fun here in these other areas.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree. I mean, I think over time they're probably going to get this shit right, but I think there's still a lot of room for us fans complaining. But I'm going to make a vow. I'm not going to complain at all this season.
At least not till September, or maybe August, because the Bears are playing in the first preseason game, the Hall of Fame game, which makes a lot of sense considering we have Mongo going in, Devin Hester going in, and Bears fans, as you know, like myself and so many others, Chris, George, that come from over fucking seas, Heidi. We travel well as fans. Braggs travels,
Yes, all the time. I noticed that you left Julius Peppers out of your.
I forgot about. Yeah, well, the dominant portion of his career was with Carolina and Green Bay. Mm-hmm. He didn't do shit for the Bears, man. Like, oh God, he was such an expensive signing. The very first one of that offseason too. It sounded like, it's going to be a great thing, kind of like Khalil Mack, and then in hindsight, both of them were just sort of okay here.
Mm-hmm.
Although everyone remember the Bears had Khalil Mack as the 60th best Bear of all time after that 1 year in the Bears top 100, which is just insane.
That's so stupid. So stupid. I mean, come on. That was Dan Pompei, who I have a lot of respect for, but that was just really bad. I think he and Don Pearson, who's a Hall of Famer, both of those guys are Hall of Fame media members. But you should have had, certain rules. You have to have played 2 seasons or 3 seasons, but just after 1 season, you're going to put him in that high in the top 100? He shouldn't have even been in the top 100 in my mind.
He wouldn't be now, would he? He'd be in the 90s somewhere.
I agree with you. I agree. I mean, it fucking hurts, though, that he got, 15 sacks this past season with the Chargers? Like,
I'm surprised by that.
Where did this come from? Jesus. But yeah, at the owners' meeting, Ryan Poles was asked about his acquisitions. I got some tape. Let's start rolling some of this tape. Listen to our buddy Ryan Poles. I also got Flus. Let me pick out. Let's see. This is Ryan Poles talking about free agency and the trades, giving fans an up-to-date report.
Continue to add impact players and create depth as well. We stayed opportunistic with some things that popped up that we, didn't expect, like Kevin Byard, and he's going to be a really good addition on the back end, communication, leadership. He still has speed, still has ball skills. I really think he's going to affect the defensive group at a high level. With the trades, Keenan Allen popped up, which was a really cool opportunity, for where we're headed, which is going to be with a young quarterback. I thought it was an absolute perfect fit. I don't think there's a better receiver in the league that can be better for a young quarterback in terms of understanding the NFL game, timing, space, reading defenses. So I think that's a great addition. It balances the field with DJ on the other side, Cole and Everett at tight end, Swift at running back. We have a lot of really cool things that can get going and allow us to be dynamic and really special. Justin, probably one of the harder things I had to do. I know, I always kind of touch on the empathy part. Like having that conversation with my own son was hard. His jersey's up in his room, so it kind of puts that into perspective of how difficult those moves are. but really felt like that was best for our organization and best for Justin. I said that at the combine. I want to do right by him. We did that. We had a really good conversation. I actually went to Flus's house, and we had that conversation together with him over the phone. And again, one of the harder things we had to do, but I thought it was necessary for us heading in the right direction.
What do you think about a very subdued Ryan Poles? Didn't get much sleep, I guess.
The thing that stood out to me when I was watching that yesterday was that he went to Eberflus's house and they called Justin together. Mm-hmm. That's a classy move. I mean, he sort of downplayed any emotional reaction when they were asked about how Justin responded to that. Mm-hmm. And I like that he said that even my own son had a Fields jersey in the room and I had to calm him down too, or make him feel better about it.
There's no doubt that they handled that with a lot of class, Eberflus and Poles and the organization. You know, this is a guy who, and I didn't pull this soundbite because I played it. I played it yesterday. I had it on Barroom Network's Twitter feed. He talked about what happened to Justin, and he said what a lot of us have been saying. The first year he came in under Matt Nagy, the team, wasn't ready for him, and then in the second year, he himself, Ryan Poles, had stripped down the entire roster, and so the team wasn't ready for him. And then finally, in this third year, he started to show moments of improvement, but he's up against this salary issue. So now they can reset the salary situation with a quarterback that has a lot of promise. It just was an unfortunate thing, and I appreciate Poles' transparency and honesty on that. I wish he would not have made it so obvious at the combine that he was going to trade Justin Fields, because that reduced the trade value. And then the trade with the Steelers, why wasn't it, if you re-sign Justin Fields for 2025 and beyond, then you send us a third round draft pick, as opposed to if he plays 51% of the snaps, then it's a fourth round draft pick. I think that the big thing here is if Justin Fields is going to be their franchise quarterback, and all we get is a 6th round pick because he played less than 50% of the snaps, man, you talk about fucking robbery. Does my idea make any sense to you?
Well, he was asked about that, and he made a comment that made a lot of sense, conveying the point that you're going to take away snaps from presumably Caleb Williams if you have Justin there, or vice versa, and they are needed by the rookie especially to be sharp. So I think that was how he tried to justify it. I'm not saying that was good or right or wrong, but that was his attempt at justification, at least based upon my recollection.
Yeah,
for not having them both.
I think I have him saying that. This is Poles saying that he was surprised at the trade value for Justin.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised, but as you do research and you have conversations, you have to kind of adjust to the market. But I think just with how other teams are built, because if you look at the beginning, there's probably teams that are looking at the draft for guys to fill in. On the back end, the playoff teams probably have someone in place. So it really was a smaller pool, of teams. So.
Before the trade is finalized, was there like a decision day before that where you feel good about these rookie quarterbacks to move on from Justin?
Yeah, we had been putting that information together all along, just trying to measure how we wanted to go about doing it. I know there's a lot of talk about, having Justin there and drafting a quarterback as well. We had a lot of deep conversations, and I got some really good guys on my staff to really dig into how that would play out in terms of the locker room. How would that play out with a young guy that needs a lot of reps? How would that play out with just the command and leadership that you need in that position? And we felt like it was best to probably move on and allow a young quarterback to come in and work into that role.
How did he handle the news?
He was positive. His tone was good. I think what was important for Flus and I is to really express to him, although this is a really tough decision, like how much he means to the city of Chicago, our fan base, and us. I thought it was a class act and how he handled the ups and downs of the start of his career. But he sounded good. The tone was good.
Classy to me. What do you think?
I agree. Totally agree. It's hard to believe, but look at the clock. We've already done 30 minutes, and it feels like we haven't even talked about anything yet. I mean, we've talked about substance of things that just happened, but sometimes the show just goes, man. It just goes.
I know. It's flying by.
I hope people, when they're listening or watching, however they're consuming the product, I hope that they're not, upset like last week. Oh, you're talking about Fields, or remember all that bullshit. So hopefully people are getting as much fun out of this as I am right now.
I love what we're doing here. So, by the way, you sent me something about Ryan Poles being pissed. Do you want to set it up, or should I?
Essentially, I didn't see the live video of this. Did you find some of it?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I didn't see this, but I saw an article that, as we all know as Bear fans, they skip over any successes, whether that be Cutler or Jim McMahon or Eric Kramer. They haven't had a quarterback since Sid Luckman. Everybody goes to die in Chicago. So I assume that narrative was thrown at Ryan Poles, and he was basically saying, don't paint me with that failure. And said he was pissed off being lumped in with all that previous ineptitude.
And it was on the Pat McAfee show, and he had just brought up RG3's comments that Caleb should demand to be traded and do like an Eli Manning. And so that is when Ryan Poles said this.
Like your particular Bears feels different than maybe the previous Bears. Like that's how we feel outside looking in. It's like, hey, this is a brand new building almost. Does it feel like that in there? And obviously you weren't there beforehand, but does it feel like you and Eberflus's culture is because at the end of the last season, it feels like, okay, the culture is kind of settling in, team settling in. You guys feel that obviously?
Yeah, it pisses me off a little bit, to be honest with you, because we were hired to break a cycle. The same thing when I was in Kansas City. Coach Reed, all of us were brought there to break a cycle, and we did. And no one talks about those days anymore. It's all about what they are right now. So I really believe we're about to break this cycle and get this city in a really good situation and win a lot of games. So the past is the past. Like I don't worry about that at all. It's about where we're going.
Okay, well, a lot of people had a similar reaction to you. Owner.
I'm not sure what McAfee meant by that, but I left it in because maybe you could explain it to me.
I don't watch his show. I didn't like him at West Virginia. I didn't like him with the Colts. I don't like his show. He and Rodgers can go have sex with Bobby Kennedy Jr. for all I care. Who, ironically, Rodgers is such a radical that even Bobby is like, okay, I'm not going to take him as the Veep now. He brought in that woman that, what is she? She was the...
She was a lawyer for a Google CEO.
Yeah, the Google. Yeah, that's who she was. Yeah,
and she donated like $2 million or something to pay for his commercials for his campaign. And so he says, "You got money, you're running with me."
Exactly. And there was something like apparently in Nevada. In Nevada, you have to have like so many votes or so many people backing you to get on the ballot, but you have to have your vice presidential candidate declared. He didn't do that yet, so all of his pre-signature votes didn't count. He's got to do it all again.
My God.
He needs money.
Yeah. See, I'm sorry. Anyone considering voting for Kennedy, please don't. Please. The guy doesn't know how to run a campaign. He's not going to know how to run a country. Anyways, back to football. Him being pissed, Ryan Poles being pissed. I love that. I loved it. He is saying, why would RG3 or anyone else talk about this is a terrible place for quarterbacks? This is a whole fucking new regime. This is a whole new, we didn't do right by Justin Fields, but there's context and nuance to that whole reason behind that. And for anyone to advocate for a quarterback to say no to the Chicago Bears when this is the best situation that I can remember ever for a rookie quarterback to joining a team, having receivers DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, having tight ends Everett and Kmet, having the backfield that we have, having a creative offensive coordinator. How can it
I can only think of one. I can only think of one situation that was better.
Oh, okay.
He went straight to Pittsburgh. They were 15-1. They lost the title game and won the Super Bowl his second year. So he went to a team that was already set. I don't know if we're set yet, but I certainly fucking hope so. I can only dream that. Yeah, I can dream that we're as good as the 04 Steelers or the 05 Steelers. But beyond that, I can't think of another situation maybe maybe Phillip Rivers when he finally got in. San Diego was really good at that time and won, 14, 15 games, and Schottenheimer got fired because they lost because of a missed field goal in Phillip's first year as the starter.
Yeah, that's right. That was his first year.
Because the first 2 years, he backed up Breeze.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so safe for me to say there haven't been many situations better than what Caleb.
No, especially in the modern era. And not that 06 isn't modern, but this is way more recent. So in the recent era, in this era of football when everything is, you get flagged for everything. You can't tackle anymore. In that era of football, this is the best situation for a rookie quarterback. I can't think of another. I mean, where they could just come right in and win if you play up to your expectations.
Aunt Moss is asking me if I took a nap today because I was up for the Gabriel show at 8:30. The show was at 11. I got up at 8:30. Did another show just before this, and now this is my third show. No, but I'm gonna fucking sleep till 11 o'clock tomorrow. So, unfortunately,
I didn't get to hear Greg today. So, what's his reaction to all this? Like with the madness of the trade and the quarterback.
I have to apologize to you because Greg calls me last week and says I got
kicker from the 30.
I got Jared Payton for the show. I go, what? I was going to get him for our show. So Jared Payton was our guest tonight, and Jared was asked, what should the Chicago Bears do with the number 9 overall pick?
It might not be sexy. I just want to make sure that both lines of scrimmage are like where they need to be. Like, I don't want that to be an issue. You have to be able to dominate on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Like, you have to. If you're in winning, like not just a playoff game or whatever, I'm talking about winning, getting to the big game. Where this thing right behind me, this right here, to win one of these, you have to be dominant, man. Like, so to me, I know it's hard without picks and all this other stuff. I get it, but I know Poles likes more picks. That's always his thing. He likes to be able to, he needs more picks. So I want to see how creative he can be, Greg, and finding ways to get himself what he needs, but also stack more picks, even if it's not for right now, or if he feels like, I need to use one of those seconds from next year to be able to move up to get a guy. I'm going to be excited to see how he does his business, because during the draft, what I saw this past season, he's methodical in how he goes through his mindset of on draft day and making those moves to be able to get his roster the way he wants to. It's fun to watch.
So Jarrett is in the camp of get an edge rusher or get an offensive lineman. The old Jim Finks, that's how he built 85 Bears.
But are we saying with the 9th pick or the 1st?
No, he made it clear that Caleb is the guy. And
okay, good. That's what I thought.
Yeah, no, and the discussion then turned to what do we do with the number 9 pick? And so his feeling was he's a big fan of Rome Odunze, the big wide receiver out of Washington, but he says you win titles with a dominant offensive and defensive line. And while the Bears have I would say a B+ defensive line and a B- offensive line, it's certainly not A or A+.
No, I'm still concerned about the offensive line. Because, as we talked about last week, we liked Tevin Jenkins. We like his tenacity, his toughness, but he's hurt a lot. And I hate to say that about anybody because we know he's giving us his all. And it's not like someone sets out to be injury prone, but unfortunately it feels like he is. And you never know what you're going to get with Nate Davis. His mom died. He had a terrible start to the season, as we know, and maybe he bounces back. But like you said, he's not that great as a pass defender anyway.
Right.
And then, some people like Braxton. Some people think he's just the placeholder. I don't know what to think about Braxton on the left tackle spot. I feel like Wright's good at right tackle, Darnell Wright, and hopefully we have a new center that's worth the fuck. But all that still feels like scratchy anxiety to me. Like it's all unknown still. I don't know.
Well, it's interesting because Ryan Poles is feeling a lot better about the offensive line This is what he had to say about where the offensive line is. Short soundbite, 20 seconds.
Yeah, I like, with Bates coming in, I feel like we've created some depth there and versatility. It's something that has really bothered me for a long time, just in terms of the lack of flexibility that we've had in the past. And it stresses you out, big time going week to week. So I feel like we have more versatility now and competition.
Yeah, we were fucking stressed out.
I'm glad it wasn't just us.
No shit. Yeah, I mean, you and I kept talking about. Wasn't he an offensive lineman? Didn't he say he really liked working on the offensive line?
And yet he puts Cody Whitehair back at center.
It's like he didn't look at Indian tape when Whitehair played center before. I hope that he's not overvaluing the guys that he picked up. Ryan Bates is a good backup because he has flexibility. He can be the center or he can play the right guard. Those are the two positions he's primarily played in the NFL. The guy they got from the Rams, who is expected now to take over as a starting center, I think his first name is Connor Sheldon. I see him as a slightly better version of Lucas Patrick. Not much better than that.
Do you think Lucas Patrick, who is still available, would be a good last lineman to sign as your backup?
I think if the Bears have an injury in camp, yeah, I think they're calling Lucas and say, listen, get your ass off that sofa and get your fucking put the beer down and get your ass over here.
I mean, if you had to have a third string center, it's better than the mullet guy, Dan, from last year.
Yeah, that was a huge disappointment. Jesus. I think that if anything, they might pick up somebody. There's a guy out of Georgia named Cedric Van Pran that will be available at around that 75th pick. I got a feeling they might go young with a player there as your developmental center. There's a guy from Arkansas named Bo Limmer, who I like a lot. He's a super smart, high IQ kind of guy. He's not ready to start now. He's a developmental center, but he's a guy the Bears should be interested in looking at because he's played center and left and right guard during his college career out of Arkansas. So maybe him. But I don't know. I think that with some clever play calling, you can disguise some of the problems with your offensive line. And I think that's going to have to happen again this year with Shane Waldron, because we've got some good players, but we don't have proven depth and we don't have an absolutely enticing starting five. If you go left to right, Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins, Sheldon from the Rams, Nate Davis, and Darnell Wright. Hate to say it, but we still need work there.
Yeah, I know. And that's why I was asking you earlier. I don't know if he was able to book him or not, but Danny Shimon, what are the hopes from Danny on what we could do at 9 for offensive line if that's the way we went?
Danny's going to join us at a future date, not this date, not today, not next week, but after that, he will be here and lend his expertise to the show. By the way, next week's show is going to be a can't miss show. Do you know? Yeah. Do you know why?
That's because my lover is going to be with us.
That's right.
And we're going to announce that you are my lover. You're leaving Mrs. Gandia and you're coming to West Virginia.
That's right. It's going to be a sad show for me next week because I am losing my lover, Dan Aguirre. He's going to take that big step in life. Marriage.
She's going to answer questions. I've put off answering anything. I'm always like, well, at a future time, and because I don't want to put words in her mouth or mischaracterize, where things are with her mindset and all that stuff. So she was like, just tell him to bring it on. I'll talk about whatever he wants to talk about. So
all right. Well, already questions are coming in the chat room. People want to know if she's ever been in a three-way.
She has.
She has. Okay. Were you
She used to be a stripper, so she's eating a lot of pussy. She'll tell you that herself.
Okay. Nice. Now, one of the questions I have for her is, how much does your penis look like a pussy?
Well, you have to ask her. I don't know.
That's going to be Fun. Next week, we will be talking about Dan's sex life, a topic we have ignored for the last few months, but we're back in. San Tucci will join us in about 30 minutes for his Bear State of Affairs. I've got some more sound bites to play. This is Ryan Poles talking about that he's okay. If he doesn't trade down and with that 9th pick and he stays with just 4 picks, he's okay.
I do. We've looked at that. If we don't move at all, I think that's 25 picks in 3 years, which is over, 8 and some change. So I like where we're at there, on top of, being set up next year to have a pretty good setup as well. And I think it matches the draft. I think a lot of guys went back to school this year. I think you're going to see a significant drop-off. Hopefully some guys squeak through, but it actually, the way we're set up in the draft this year actually pairs up really well with how I think it's going to play out.
Dan Aguirre, I'm okay with just 4 picks too. If they don't trade down and pick up more assets, I'm fine. This is not a super deep draft. I think that what I would prefer more than anything is that you get 2 blue chip players. That 9th pick is your 2nd round pick, but you got to
let's make him a quality starter.
Exactly. That's more important to me than picking up 2-3 more picks that are going to be in rounds 3 and 4. Fuck that. I want a Dallas Turner who's going to be that speed rusher. He's going to get you sacks. He's going to play at a high level. He's going to make everyone in the defensive line better. Now, here are the 4 guys. Now, I would consider a trade if these 4 guys, if they're all gone by the time the Bears pick number 9, then I would consider a trade. I should have probably put Alt, the left tackle from Notre Dame, on this list, but I'm not sure that they're interested in picking a left tackle with the 1st round and having the obligation of then 1 year paying Darnell Wright, $20 million a year, and then the next year having to pay their left tackle $25 million a year. I think they'd rather keep Braxton Jones, who is, I hate to say it because I know people get pissed off whenever you hear the name Charles Leno, but he's Charles Leno. He's going to show up every game. He's going to play hard. He's going to make some mistakes, but you can win with him. Maybe I'm wrong there.
Well, it seemed that in his first season was much better than his second. But, sometimes they have the quote-unquote sophomore slump.
Right. You're
so
talking
maybe
about
he bounces back. Yeah, maybe he bounces back for year 3.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that. I think last year Braxton Jones, he started the season surprisingly bad. I was like, holy shit! I thought this guy's going to get better, and then he got injured. And then when he came back from injury, he looked a lot better. That's my recollection of him. So I think that the Bears are high on him because he's got unique athletic skills that are perfectly suited for that left tackle position. He's got quick feet. He's got long arms. He's got a great attitude. He wants to learn. He's a smart guy. I would give him 1 more year as opposed to bringing in Joe Alt, and I'm a Notre Dame fan. So any Notre Dame player on the Bears, I'd be happy with. But I think the investment should be on an edge rusher. But again, like Foster says, what happened?
I've got a station off air. I'm sorry. I don't know if you can hear the alarm.
I do hear it.
Yeah, let me go alleviate that. I apologize. Talk about Foster. I'll be straight back. I'm sorry.
We got it. Foster said that I'm in love with Tharoma Dunze. Yeah, I am. Who are you in love with, Foster? All right, let me play a video while he is away. This is Ryan Post talking about the intel that they've collected on Caleb. And then I've got a comment to share regarding my buddy Greg Gabriel, because as most people know who are fans of the Barroom, Greg Gabriel was critical of Caleb Williams and some of the stuff that he had been hearing about what Caleb does off the field.
When you talk to his teammates, they don't like him. They love him. His leadership, how he brings people together. He's intentional with his leadership. Same goes with the staff. I'm having a hard time finding a person that doesn't like him or even love him and thinks, that he can reach the highest limits. So the feedback's been good. We look for guys that can bring others around. So the cool thing, there's pros and cons in this NIL setup. But the cool thing is you do have some resources to, take your line out to dinner. You see the Christmas gifts that the NFL guys do. So really bringing those guys together, spending time, creating that bond is really what you're looking for in that position, and he's done that.
What was he like at dinner a couple nights before his pro day with his teammates then?
Yeah, really mature. One of my guys kind of bumped me on it, which I think is rare these days for a 22-year-old. He never touched his phone. So really intentional with his conversations and, talking about his interests and things that he likes to do. So really good touch point.
Dan, you're back, right? No, you're
I am. Poles has gotten in decent shape. Not to say that he was fat before, but he looks a lot more fit than 2-3 years ago, whatever it's been.
Yes, I think that's a good thing too, because he talked about last year during the draft how much it ate away at him. He wasn't sleeping. He was sleeping at Halisol for just 2-3 hours. He was eating a lot of junk food and stuff. So I'm glad that he's taking better care of himself. But his soundbite there, he was talking about all the intel that they're collecting on Caleb has been very positive. His teammates like him. He seems to be a good leader of guys on and off the field. And I just wanted to share, Greg Gabriel was trending multiple times on Twitter because he had said that he is hearing some things about Caleb's character that he doesn't like. Greg thinks he's a phenomenal talent and that's way up here, but he was thinking the Bears are not going to trade Justin Fields because of some of the things I've heard about Caleb Williams. Well, now the Bears themselves are saying we're not hearing any of that. We're hearing some really positive things. I got a feeling, my theory, and Greg doesn't tell me who he collects his information from, but I do know that it is from reliable sources. Don't ask me why I know, but I do know. But he won't.
Why? No, I'm just kidding.
He won't tell me specifically who said this or who said that. So I think that there's a lot of the old guard who are concerned that Caleb is coming in. He wants to change things because he's coming in with his own brand, because he wants to change some of the salary rules that were agreed upon by the Players Association, that he is, outside of that norm of that quarterback who just shows up and says, okay, coach, what do you want me to do? He's going to take a bigger leadership role with what he does on and off the field. And so I think, and I'm just speculating here, I'm thinking that might be some of the stuff that Greg heard, and that is probably one of the reasons that he thought that the Chicago Bears organization, conservative as it has been for many years, wouldn't touch Caleb and that they would keep Justin. But he was wrong. So what do you think about my theory?
I mean, yeah. I agree with you. And I don't want you to outsource his or anything like that. I mean, I get it. That's the heart of journalism there. You can't tell everybody how you know something. And I would have thought that Fields wouldn't have been traded so abruptly for a 6th round pick either. So I could see where Greg is coming from and worrying about things. Because, I mean, you remember when USC won a bowl game without Caleb, there were people saying that everyone loved the backup. And so these stories are out there.
Yep.
But fuck those stories. You've already traded Justin. You can't get this wrong. You have to take the kid now. In fact, my wet dream at this point is to come on in the next week or so, because the draft is essentially 1 month away. I would like to come on in a week or so and be like, hey, they've agreed to a contract. It's done.
Yeah.
So that you know who they're going to draft, and there's no holdout.
Ross Reed said that on Twitter today. He says, I wish Ryan Post would just say, yeah, Caleb is going to be the guy. We're working on a contract. If everything comes out fine, he's the guy. And I don't know if the Bears should announce that. I think they should wait to the last minute, because who knows what happens. I was talking to Jay from Just Another Year, Nick from Just Another Year prior to this show. He said, what if the Chargers come back and say, hey, we'll trade you Justin Herbert for that number 1 pick and a bunch of other picks or players. Now,
did you see what Harbaugh said? Harbaugh said that he thought J.J. McCarthy was the best quarterback in the draft.
Yes. How about that?
And that's who he coached. So and Harbaugh seems like as charismatic, if you want to use that, or as off-putting as he is to some people, no one's ever called him a liar.
That's for sure. Well, I don't know about that.
I don't think they would.
Cheating allegations.
Oh, yeah. Well, beyond, I meant like if he says something in a presser, no one's like, oh, what a liar he is. I mean, he kind of feels like he would tell you what he thinks, and then almost Mike Ditka-ish. You're going to get what's on his mind. So I think that the Chargers would not do that. He likes Herbert, and he'll probably take McCarthy then. I don't think he would trade up for Caleb Williams.
And Scrolls says Herbert won't be as good as Caleb, and that could very well be true. But if you're getting Herbert and a bunch of other picks, and that trade is not going to happen. Chargers aren't going to trade away picks. They're rebuilding. But, a scenario like that where you get an already proven quarterback and picks for the number one, I want to hear those trade proposals. I want, I'd be happy to say, no, I heard enough. Thank you. Bye. I got to go. I'll do that 29 times. But don't tell everybody what you're doing. I had a problem when you basically told people at the combine, we're trading Justin Fields. Don't do it now by saying we're going to draft Caleb Williams. Keep everybody.
And maybe that hurts negotiations too.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So I guess you can't say you're drafting him until the deal's done or until the draft is done. One or the other.
Right. And since he will be the first one picked, he could negotiate a contract, I believe, if they haven't changed these rules, he could start negotiating a contract any day. So maybe he will be signed, sealed, and delivered weeks before the draft. But that would
be preferable. That would be preferable for sure.
As a fan, right?
You don't want to hold out. Even as popular as Justin was, because there are a lot of people that don't agree with that, but there are a lot of people like Justin. They were chanting his name. We want Fields. We want Fields. So you cannot afford to have the next guy hold out. You just can't.
I agree with that. There's no fucking way. I'm frankly a little worried because Caleb will be invited to a Bulls game or a hockey game. I hope they don't give him the same treatment they gave Mitchell
Trubisky.
Oh my God, that was so fucking embarrassing. As much as I hated Trubisky when we drafted him, there's no fucking way I would have booed him at a Bulls game. It's like, come on.
I guess everyone knew that, like, oh, he's not the guy. Yeah. But conversely, everyone cheered Justin when he got drafted. And he turned out not to be the guy that we wanted. Maybe he's going to get there. But it is undeniable that he didn't play as well as we had hoped, or he wouldn't have been traded.
Exactly. Tooch has shown up. We'll let him set up. We'll play another couple of sound bites and get Dan's reaction to them. I think I've played all of the ones that I had from Ryan Poles. Let me play. You have not heard Flus and Kevin Warren from today.
That is correct. I'm looking forward to this.
All right. Well, this is Flus asking about Keenan Allen and the acquisition of Keenan, and was he surprised to see him at the pro day?
I saw Keenan at the pro day, and I turned around and I went and visited with him, and I said, "How you doing?" And he said, "I was trying to go incognito." I said, "You're in Beers gear, and you got your Keenan Allen beard sticking out." I said, "I don't know if you're pulling that off right now, but no, it was great to see him." And it was great to visit with him a little bit more too, and talk to him about just about the whole process, his process, and it was really good to see him. I thought it was really cool that he showed up.
Yeah, the fact that he did show up, what does that tell you about his mindset and kind of what he was looking to see?
Yeah, Keenan is always about the next play. So he moves on quick. So as soon as the trade happened, boom, he was there. Ready to go. It brought his whole family, when he signed and stuff, and it was really cool to see those guys, how supportive they are, and he's always on to the next play.
What do you think about the new look, Dan?
I was thinking that beard. I don't know, but I'm not a beard guy, so it doesn't look bad, I guess. It makes him look more wise because it's gray or something. I don't know. But when he talks, though, I know a lot of people have criticized him, especially when we were losing early on in 14 straight losses or whatever it was, and between seasons. But he still sounds more credible than Matt Nagy ever did.
It's close.
I think he sounds like he's more comfortable in his skin, that he has more substance. Nagy was just like, "Oh, please, God, tell me I'm smart. Oh, please, please." Just so pretentious to me,
Yeah, that was very irritating about Matt Nagy. I come from the Andy Reid school. We can do no wrong. I was hired here because I'm a fucking quarterback whisperer. part-time genius. Yeah, there was that air about him, and then it was sort of like I had dual feelings about seeing him self-destruct at every press conference. I was happy that it was happening because I wanted him to go away, but at the same time, I'm a Bears fan, and so it's very, disappointing to see that your head coach is a fucking idiot. I'm still not 100% in the Eberflus camp. I think he's an outstanding defensive-minded coach, defensive coordinator, but can he be a head coach who can oversee a top-ranked offense with his defense? That's still to be determined. They talked a lot today about, you mentioned it earlier, Dan, about the call to Justin Fields. And I think that's how he wins his players over, because he's so fucking nice. He's tough when he has to be in film sessions, but he treats the players with a lot of respect. It's something that Bill Belichick, I don't think, ever did to his players.
Well, but Bill cheated a lot and won a lot of Super Bowls. So
Yeah.
I get your point, though. I agree with you.
So would you accept a head coach who cheats a lot and wins you Super Bowls, or would you prefer a competent head coach who doesn't cheat?
I would prefer what you just said at the end there, the latter.
Okay, a competent head coach who doesn't
not to sell my soul to the proverbial devil to win. Just get me one. I was 5 when they won Super Bowl 20. Come on, man. Just get me one more as an adult and I'll be set. And then Mahomes can win the next 22 with all the officials cheating for him. That's fine.
I knew we'd get to that.
Then we can hear about how great he is and see him blowing that State Farm guy. I wish they would fire that State Farm guy. I hope he gets involved in a sex scandal or something where they have to fire him. I'm so sick of that fucking guy. I want him on Dateline. He's cellmates now with Jared from Subway, Jake from State Farm.
They're both eating other inmates' submarines
and taking the submarine
and taking them. This is Kevin Warren talking about expectations for 2024. Tell me, Dan Aguirre, if you are satisfied with his response.
My expectation is to have the mindset to win every football game and to do everything that we possibly can, and that's why I will continually pour my heart and soul. I love this franchise. I love the Chicago Bears. I love our fans. We are so blessed to be in the National Football League, and I want to make sure that we leave no stones unturned and we pull together. I never, ever want us to be in a position to say, boy, if we had a little bit more kind of just moxie and made that decision, it would have set us on the right path. And this, success in the NFL is all about a culmination of really good decisions, and that's why at the end of every one of my meetings with Ryan, we have a standing weekly meeting. We talk every day, but always look at him and ask him, do you have everything you need for us to be a champion? And as long as he continues to say yes, then we're moving in the right direction.
Coming back to when you met.
Your thoughts?
I like him. Every time he speaks, I'm like, yeah. I like the orange tie. I buy into all the bullshit. I'm like, yes, he's so much better than Sweaty Teddy. He cared. Not to say Ted didn't care, but when he talks, I like him. I'm buying what he's selling.
I will agree with you in that I like him too, but I can't help, and I bet you Tooch will agree with me when he comes on, because Tooch has lived in the Chicago area for 50 years. I've lived here for some 50 plus years. There's just something about people in position of authority, whether they're in Chicago politics or Chicago sports management. You just think, what the fuck? I can't trust you. You're either incompetent or you're just a liar. Now, I don't get those vibes from Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles, but this is like the first time ever. Can this be true? I don't know. It's worrisome.
So you think he's like up there with Rod Blagojevich or however he said his name? Right?
Exactly. He's out there talking to people and trying to sell Obama's Senate seat. This is worth money to me. How much are you going to give me?
But he never would admit to the wrongdoing, man. No wonder he and the former president are such pals,
There's a really good series on CNN with Jake Tapper on Sunday nights. I think the last episode was this past Sunday, but he looks at scandals in politics, and Blagojevich was the second episode this past Sunday. The Valerie Plame scandal with Scooter Libby outing her as a CIA agent. The Elliot Richardson, the Attorney General, who was dating a whore. It's really
Elliot
good.
Richardson, he goes back to Watergate.
No, it's not Elliot Richardson.
You mean
It's
Elliot Spitzer?
Spitzer, yeah. He was spitzing all over a prostitute's face. And so he's picked some nice topics. And Jake, the CNN correspondent, he does a nice job of personalizing the story, saying, when I was reporting this was going on, I was thinking blah, blah, blah. So they're not badly done if you are a CNN fan and run across the repeats.
I will check it out.
Good. Let me see. I got Tooch just texted me. He says about 10 minutes or so. He's waiting for the girls to go to sleep. This is now Kevin Warren. Talked about expectations to 2024. By the way, when he started out saying my expectations are to win every game, that's the attitude. That's the attitude that should permeate not only him, but every Bears fan. We don't go into, I hate it when I'm preparing for a game on Sunday and I'm seeing social media, oh, we're going to get our asses kicked today. Fuck you. Why are you that way? Don't do that. Don't put that out there. We're going to win today. We're going to upset. Every year I predict a 17-0 record, a 16-1, whatever it is. We're going to fucking win.
The things I hate, and it was from the top of my head, Nagy did it and Tressman did it. They would be like, this game doesn't matter any more than the others. Like when you're playing the Packers, it does. For one, your divisional opponents matter more. That's just common sense. And if it is the rivals that's been kicking your ass since Bush 41 was president, I mean, it fucking matters, man.
Yep. Absolutely.
I hate it when they don't acknowledge that.
Let me put it to you this way. If I am looking for somebody who robbed me and there's a police lineup, and I look at number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and I say, man, the fucker ain't there. I will say number 2 because he's wearing a Packer jersey.
I agree.
He's the one that should go to jail. Fucking lock that guy up. But did he commit the crime? No, I don't care. He's wearing a Packer jersey.
Absolutely.
Anyway, there's momentum now shifting away from Arlington Heights to the Chicago lakefront to build this stadium. That's the perfect word, momentum.
Yeah, I mean, all of these projects are, that's a great word. They require momentum. They require vision. They require tenacity. They require a lot of thought and planning, but they also require momentum. And I strongly believe that we're building a momentum to that museum, area. Chicago is the finest city in the United States of America, and I personally believe Chicago is the finest city in the world. And for us to be able to have that combination of the museum campus, those beautiful buildings along the lakefront, and when I say lakefront, a lake that you can swim in, that's blue and is clean with a beach, with the backdrop of the greatest architecture of a city, especially a major city in the country. So when you have that combination of the museum, the lakefront, the beach, the architecture, and most of all, what makes Chicago special is the people. And so when you can mix that together, you do get great momentum, but it's going to require a lot of work as we proceed forward.
Didn't the preservation group, though, that was against George Lucas's, didn't they come out and say that they were pretty much against this?
Yes, big time.
Yeah, I thought so.
This is not going to be easy. And so I don't think Warren was trying to make it sound easy, but there's going to be so many fucking hurdles. If he thinks Arlington Heights is putting up hurdles with this tax situation.
But didn't they say that they were going to make a deal now?
Well, they have reduced what they're requesting in taxes, but that's not satisfactory to the Bears. They want to get it back to where it was when Dick Dishoswa owned the racetrack. And I you know what, based on what I know, I think the Bears are correct on this situation. I think that the Arlington Heights school districts are trying to take them to the cleaners and have them pay for taxes on land that isn't generating any income. So this should be a relationship, a bond between the Arlington Heights government, the state of Illinois government, and this private enterprise, the Chicago Bears. They should work together. They're going to improve the roads. They're going to improve things to do around the stadium, restaurants, employ so many people. This should be a lot easier than they're fucking making it to be. So they're asking for money that they don't have. That's the other thing. And so the school districts are asking for money that they don't have. So it's not like they're going to go out of business and our kids are going to be, homeschooled. So, all right. So what is your feeling on that? You still feel that you'd like it in the lakefront, right?
I mean, in theory, yeah, because it is Chicago. So for everything he said is absolutely correct. I don't have to be a native of the town to have that same appreciation. And like with the lakefront and the architecture and all that's, yeah, I agree. It still seems like this could be talk to make Arlington Heights realize that they better fucking reduce their tax rate even more.
That's how I'm taking it. I just, hey, I wouldn't mind a state-of-the-art stadium in the lakefront and, it being really cool with the skyline and the lake and stuff. That'd be beautiful. I just don't see how this thing gets done. Not with those friends at the lakefront. These guys are like fucking, from the shit that I read, they will get anything done. They will do anything to stop growth in that part of the city because they want the greenery. They want the water. They don't want anybody to fuck with it. If they had a chance, they'd probably tear down the museums that are down there. More from Kevin Warren, this time talking about his focus is away from Arlington Heights.
We are the largest landowner in Arlington Heights right now at 326 acres. We own a beautiful piece of land, and I have great respect for Mayor Hayes and Randy Reckless and all of the politicians there. So, my belief right now, these projects are incredibly difficult, and just learning the various things that I did in Minnesota, you have to be laser focused. And right now we're putting our energy to downtown Chicago, to the museum campus, just from an energy and resource standpoint. So we still own the land. We're the largest landowner. We'll stay in communication with Arlington Heights, but the focus now has to be on Chicago to give us the best opportunity for success.
I understand that, Dan. If I can be crude for another minute.
I have a joke for you, too.
Basically, he's saying, hey, if you're not going to give me any pussy, I'm going to go over here where I get the pussy. I know we love each other.
Speaking of getting pussy, it feels like Kevin Warren could do a great Bill Cosby impression if he wanted to. His mannerisms, I was expecting him to say, like, have a Coke and a smile and shut the fuck up, Arlington Heights.
It's even funnier when you consider how in that interview he talked about God and reading the Bible every day and so forth. So I'm sure he will never come on this show to be interviewed.
No. We are too crude.
Mr. Shorty says that he wants Arlington Heights for his own personal reasons. It's easy to get to. There's a lot of bushes to piss on. All right, I got a message here from the Stooge, and he is ready to rock it and to roll it. Johnny Santucci, how are ya?
Hello, fellas.
Man, you look very healthy. I know were sick for a while. Are you feeling
I feel better? Yep. Yeah, still a little phlegmy, a little verklempt, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
But ready to rock and roll.
Is verklempt? Does that mean too much semen in your mouth?
Too much semen. I don't know what that means. Yeah, it was. I got Bear Stamp Fair School. It was a rough show last week for me because I couldn't take the trolling from the chat room. All of us really, last week.
I can't believe that's still on your mind, but yeah, you were a little quick on the trigger there. So
salty. I was a little salty.
I loved it.
Speaking of semen, salty.
But I mean, I've been. It wasn't really on my mind that much because my wife and I have been house hunting. We found a house So we bought a house in the historic section here of West Des Moines. Our new house.
Wow, I love
Congratulations.
that. That is nice. I love
in first week of May, I think. So we'll be moving new house. The girls have the penthouse up there, the dormer attic. It's like
nice.
Their own personal playground up there. It's got a full bath too in the penthouse.
Love it. It's beautiful.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Fully rehabbed, just top to bottom, inside and out. And that backyard, man, the backyard's like a football. It's a double lot. We don't want, we just want a house.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna have to get a riding mower or just, regular push mower and get my exercise that way,
Congratulations, John.
Thank you.
You should invite Mr. Shorty to water your lawn.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Yeah. Well,
with urine, of course.
Contribute to the compost pile as well if he likes.
I crack myself up. So I was going to ask you something I forgot. Congrats, Stooch, getting a lot of praise, a lot of congratulations for it.
Yeah.
It looks like a beautiful house. And so, do each of the girls get their own bedroom or one bedroom and a playroom?
It's the whole attic. It's like fully finished. So it's kind of semi-partition where they could either put two beds, or they could have a bed at each side, kind of have their own spaces, or they could have the bed area and a lounge area and a craft area or study area, whatever. It's like they each have two big closets and a full bath, shower, tub, sink, toilet up there. So I'll probably never see them. They'll come down, they'll be fully grown. Wow, all that time up there, huh?
Oh, already asking for the keys to the car. I haven't seen you since you were in the
driver's license now. Where have I been?
Shorty says he can really make your bushes beautiful.
I'm telling you.
Hey, before State of Affairs, can I read a tweet for you?
Please.
Mark Potash. Only the Bears could pay $197 million for Arlington Heights' property to build a stadium and then hire a team president who's fixated on building a stadium in Chicago over a tax dispute in Arlington Heights that amounts to less than 1% of their annual operating revenue.
Yes. And Mark is right about that last part, but I don't think it's only the Bears that would do that. There's probably other franchises, but I understand his point.
Right.
In the end, this is not that huge of a tax burden that the school districts are asking on the Bears. I do think they're asking for a little bit more above the market value, so to speak. But Mark is right. The Bears have to. I don't think that the McCaskey family, George McCaskey, his brothers, their grandkids, and so forth, are saying, "Wait a minute, we spent how much for that money, and now you're saying no?" I think Kevin Warren is telling them, "Hold on, I'm playing high stakes poker here. We will build this in Arlington Heights." So that's what I think. So I'm surprised that Mark has kind of fallen for it, but as some people know, Mark sometimes isn't always right. But I know one thing.
One last thing. I have one last thing, and John will be right. I don't know if you saw this or not. HBO announced that Euphoria Season 3 has been postponed again, but they claim it's still on. I think at this point, the remaining characters will be like 40 years old when Season 3 starts.
Yeah. If they're waiting for me to catch up on the seasons that I've missed, on the episodes that I've missed, then I have to get to it then. But we're going to talk
There's
about
only been 2 seasons. Only been 2 seasons.
Yeah, so what? 8 episodes plus 2, 16 episodes I've missed?
Something like that, yeah.
Those 2 seasons felt like 3, I got to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
That was great, though. I mean, so much happened, though, with the last episode of Season 2 with Ashtray, and what was the other kid's name?
Angus, and he died in real life, so.
Right. But what was his character's name?
I
can't remember. Ashtray was his little brother.
Yeah, right, yeah. I can't think of his name.
Fez.
Fesco, yeah.
Fesco, yeah.
There's a lot of sex in that series, right? As I remember.
Yes, that is correct. And Sydney Sweeney is the one that we all love. Played Cassie.
And her boobs are everywhere today, Dan.
Oh my gosh.
Her boobs are ubiquitous. Wherever you go, there's Sydney Sweeney's boobs on Twitter, on TV, and the news. It's like
you cannot have too much of her. She could be ubiquitous. She should be like Taylor Swift everywhere.
Yeah.
And not Taylor Swift because of her breasts.
She reminds me of a 18-year-old girl I dated when I was 20. Young, innocent looking like she does in that scene that you sent me where she's having sex with some guy on that show. And just huge boobies. Oh my gosh, does she remind me a lot of that? So I've got to watch that episode in slow motion.
No, that wasn't from Euphoria. That's from a film. I don't know what that was from.
Oh.
It was just on X or Twitter, and like they were giving us triple X on X.
It's been a lot of that lately.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. All right, let us not wait any longer. Johnny Santucci is ready for his award-winning Bears State of Affairs, and this thing has won the Palme d'Or at Cannes. It has won
the back there somewhere. Mayor Mikulski's
Pulitzer. The Italian Film Festival in Venice has given it their top award. Let's get to it now. This is Johnny Santucci.
All right, Bears State of Affairs, NFL off season, week 9. What's happening in Barflies? Well, last week we said goodbye to Justin Fields, and I wasn't going to talk about Justin Fields, but I got to tell you, it was a rough bare their soul show for me. I got a little upset at the chat room. Someone called me a bad name. Yeah, they called me the media, and that really hurt, because in today's era, you just can't trust the lying media. But in the bar room, I always hope for folks to trust me, to deliver a real, heartfelt, and at times brutally honest critique of the Chicago Bears. Aldo, Dan, and I, we kind of got a little upset last week with people blaming us for talking about Justin Fields being traded on Saturday when it was Tuesday.
That's right.
I'll take this time to apologize and to remind and perhaps scold, but I couldn't abide the disrespect and downright football stupidity of the so-called Bears fans trolling in the chat room, who refused to accept the context surrounding Justin Fields' short-lived Bears tenure, namely that he was a victim of bad timing. A young kid who presided over a tank year and a rebuilding year, he was given the keys to Mitch Trubisky's shitty-ass Toyota Camry and was told he had to win a stock car race with it. And that, as you know, was never going to happen. Yeah.
I love it.
I couldn't abide the disrespect for a Bears player who poured his heart and soul into my favorite team and earned my respect and the respect of a lot of Bears fans, some of whom own 4 Fields jerseys.
Oh.
I think I came in at the wrong time or heard something about a dildo as soon as I
No, I couldn't abide the football stupidity. Those Bear fans who threw the stats at Dan and Aldo and myself like Fields' 10-28 record as a starter, which coincidentally, it's the same record as Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus as GM and coach respectively, or the inane stat of worst fourth quarter quarterback or some other arbitrary stat that contains zero context and a ton of disrespect. Justin Fields deserved respect because Justin Fields is a player who holds 8 NFL records. Let me say that again. 8 NFL records. How many NFL players have 8? I'd like to know. But the kid has 8 NFL records until someone breaks them, and here they are. Number 1, most rushing yards by a quarterback in a single game, 178 yards, November 6, 2022 versus the Dolphins.
We were at that game.
Yes, we were.
Most rushing yards over a 5-game span in the Super Bowl era, 568 yards, 2022. Most consecutive games with a rushing touchdown, 6 games, 2022 also. Most consecutive games with 1+ rushing and 1+ passing touchdown, 5. First player to rush for 140+ yards and throw 3+ touchdowns in a single game. Also November 6, 2022 versus Miami Dolphins. Yep.
Nice.
First player to rush for 100+ yards, throw 2+ touchdowns, and rush for 2+ touchdowns in a single game. November 13th, 2022 versus the Detroit Lions. Only quarterback in the Super Bowl era with multiple 60+ rushing touchdowns. Only quarterback since 1925 to score 3 rushing touchdowns over 50 yards. And all these came in a tank year with a roster in which no Bears starter could have probably started on any other team. So this will be the last time I talk about Justin Fields, unless he beats my Bears in a game or wins a Super Bowl or something like that. But I want Bears fans to remember that this was a kid who probably could have had a pretty good season, throwing to the likes of DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett, DeAndre Swift. Maybe break a few more NFL records, add to those 8. So to Justin, I will say, kid, thanks for the memories. Now, speaking of folks who talked about Justin Fields recently, Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin spoke on the potential of Justin Fields, saying, quote, "Oh my gosh, man, he oozes talent and potential. There's a lot of meat left on that bone, man. I'm just excited about working to be a part of extracting it." It's making me hungry, Aldo. Yeah. And yesterday marked the first time that Bears GM Ryan Poles had spoken since the Bears traded Justin Fields. Addressing the media from the NFL owners meeting in Orlando, Poles was asked if he was surprised that the trade market for Fields was not as robust as expected. Quote, "I was a little bit surprised," said Poles, "but as you do the research and we have conversations, you have to kind of adjust to the market. If you look at the beginning, there are probably teams that are looking at the draft for guys to fill in. On the back end, playoff teams probably have someone in place. So really, it was a smaller pool of teams." Poles also added, "It wasn't Justin versus any of these rookies. It was really just the timeline." Bears GM also said trading Justin Fields was one of the harder things I've had to do. Poles said they chose the financial flexibility of a rookie contract since Fields would become a free agent at the end of this season. And Poles is right. Fields will soon be in need of a new contract. I don't blame him for resetting the clock at quarterback and going with Caleb Williams. That's what the Bears are doing at left tackle with Braxton Jones, keeping a rookie contract at a premier position. Poles also spoke about meeting future Bears quarterback Caleb Williams at dinner following USC's Pro Day. What stood out to Ryan Poles the most from his dinner with Caleb Williams in LA last week? Quote, "His teammates don't like him. They love him." And, quote, "He's really mature. One of my guys kind of bumped me on it," which I think is rare these days for a 22-year-old. "He never touched his phone." Really intentional with his conversations and talking about his interests and things like that he likes to do. A really good touch point. Well, not touching his phone is the new he drives a Toyota Camry, for those who remember the 2017 draft. Yeah, all that's left for us to find out is that Poles and Eberflus's wives are besties. Poles on the Pat McAfee show also talked about breaking the cycle. Yeah, which means he probably watches this show. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and gosh, I had another one here for the cycle. Are they talking about this one? Hold on. Let's see.
Did I accidentally erase one of your graphics?
I've got too many. Hold on a second here.
Dan, sing us a song.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the animation.
Okay. We'll adjust this in post.
Once again.
I think difficulties. He's talking about this cycle, maybe.
Oh, that's the one.
The
You're forgetting the Mike Glennon door.
It's a real tall door for a giraffe neck.
Shit.
Other Bears news. Well, from the USC Pro Day, Ryan Poles said Keenan Allen blew him away when the wide receiver showed up to the USC Pro Day in Bears gear. Poles had no idea it was going to happen. How cool is that? Really? And on August 1st, Bears will play in the Hall of Fame game this preseason. Yeah. Notice you got notice how the picture's DJ Moore now and not Caleb Williams yet.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and let's see, as well as I said, I would show one example of how Decision Gate is affecting Bears fans. I got this post. Yeah.
QB1 dead ass.
Dead ass gay.
Come on.
My quarterback.
Wrong with people.
Well, regardless of Caleb Williams' proclivity, Bears fans are brimming with excitement about him, especially now with the draft a month away. Bears holding the lottery ticket to select him. He's an exciting player, and Bears fans have a lot of reason to hope for a brighter future. I've said for weeks that the quarterback who goes first overall to the Chicago Bears is in an abnormally good place to go to play early in their career. No top 5 quarterback has ever played with 2 1,200-plus yard wide receivers as a rookie before. with throwing Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift, an above-average offensive line, and above-average defense. And Caleb's no longer driving the team Camry. He's got a freaking Porsche. Usually the number one pick goes to a mess, but that won't be the case for Williams. He'll be coming to Hallis Hall next week, and there's an increasing likelihood that Williams will soon have his own locker, a key card to the building, plus the keys to that Porsche, and that is Bears State of Affairs.
And the people in the chat room are saying, "Don't apologize."
We are sorry, so sorry, very sorry, I'm sorry. We'll never do it again. We are sorry, so sorry,
Ronald
very
McDonald,
sorry, I'm sorry. We'll never
Eight
do
NFL
it
records, Bozo.
again. We are
Eight
sorry,
NFL
so
records.
sorry,
Everybody's
very
tough.
sorry, I'm sorry.
Football stupid.
We'll never do it again. We are sorry, sorry, sorry,
Oh, we are back.
And we are sorry. We are sorry.
I'm like, I took it off the loop. Why is it looping?
He also said here, let me put this idiot up here. Eight
talking about
NFL records all running. No. Were you listening to Bears State of Affairs? Also for passing and rushing touchdowns in a game. Tell me if you can name another person that's got 8 NFL rush.
Tooch is always arguing with that guy. Or the female. I'm not sure.
He's football stupid. He's football stupid. I mean, you can't fix stupid. Football stupid.
Oh my
You're
God.
just a hater. You're just a hater. That's all.
Are you that way when you're at the bar and somebody says, "Hey, that fucking Justin Fields sucks"? So you just say you're stupid. You're stupid.
No, I mean, there's a difference between stupid and football stupid.
And that's true.
You know, but he's probably stupid also.
I'm both. Yes.
He just goes by the record. Look at him. He's just showing us his ass. He's showing his ass. Look at him. He even looks like a dork. How did he get married? His wife looks okay, but he looks like
Wow.
All right, step away from the microphone. Put your hands up.
That guy's especially stupid. I don't know why he watches the show. He's too stupid for the show. He's like,
I hope you're not about to call somebody a cunt now.
He's like 6th round pick now. That was all. They sent him to where he wanted to go. They gave up giving if it's not Fields' worth, it's the Bears mismanaging the situation. But they gave the kid the choice of where he wanted to go. He wanted to go to the Steelers. The Steelers would only give a 6th round pick. That's it.
Has that Stephen Meade guy ever come after Tooch? Because he's defending Justin a lot here, and that's what I got so much heat over. So
yeah,
it's good to see you upset instead of me, Tooch. No offense.
I wants to see a picture of your wife.
Fuck him. He's got his own shitty wife.
Wow.
Listen, Tooch, I want you to take some advice from Leon from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
On how to handle these matters.
You pull their asshole open, step into their asshole, close the door behind you, take a spray paint can, right? Larry was here. You spray paint, Larry was here, wash me, all that kind of shit. Fuck his whole asshole up. Eat some Snicker bars, throw some paper on the floor, read a newspaper, ball of paper up the newspaper, and throw the newspaper on the floor. Fuck his whole asshole up. You know what I'm saying? Then you open that asshole one more time. Open it again. Open that asshole again. Oh! Step out his ass. And leave that motherfucker wide open so he know you've been there.
Oh my God. Can I reference that episode real quick?
Please do.
So earlier in the episode, Larry had taken some anti-Semitic shit from one of those white guys that shave their heads, what are the skinheads or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
The anti-Semites, obviously.
Yeah.
And Leon tells him that. And then midway through the episode, he goes up to a guy because he's hearing Leon's dialogue in his head. And they're like, "Oh my God, this man is not a skinhead. He's a cancer patient." And so you kind of forget about it. And at the very end of the episode, the way it ends, like Larry's arguing with somebody else. And then you hear Leon say, "Skinhead, skinhead." He's like, "Leon, no." And Leon goes to beat up the cancer patient and it goes off, you know.
I love it.
It's so fucking funny. God, it's so funny.
He's the funniest guy on TV.
Step out the asshole. Step out. Don't even close that motherfucker. Leave it open so you know you've been there.
Eight NFL records doesn't mean anything, I guess, guys. I'm sorry.
Only 2 episodes left. I agree with you, Tooch. I'm on your side here.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's putting up 150 yards of the game, Tooch. Oh, those are still NFL records, man. On a team at a tank year with a roster that absolutely sucked, he set 8 NFL records. All right, that's it, man. Done.
I love it. I love it. We're over here talking about Leon, Curb Your Enthusiasm, and Tooch jumps back in. That motherfucker with the 12 touchdown.
Well, I mean, it's like, come on. The kid gave us everything. He gave everything to this team. My favorite team.
Yes.
The kid was class the whole time. He never fucking complained.
Yeah.
He took a fucking beating.
Right.
He got up and kept playing and kept trying to win. His teammates loved him.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand Bears fans who are haters.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
I don't get it either. I support my team. You know, and now Caleb Williams, the quarterback. I love Caleb Williams, man. I'll take him or J.J. McCarthy. I'm root for him just as hard. But yeah,
get it all out. Get it out. Come on.
Yeah.
This is catharsis time.
Yes.
This is awesome. I love it.
No, we don't have to talk about it anymore after this. I mean, but it's in the news. You know, Poles talked about it for the first time. You know, it was hard for Poles. He talked about his son has a jersey hanging in his room.
And at what age did you think about having sex with your dog?
Wow.
Anybody have any bestiality thoughts when they were growing up? Like you look at your dog's ass and say, "Man, I wonder if I could stick my dick in there."
God, no. Unequivocally, no. How about dog pussy then? Did you like the female dogs?
I never really gave it any thought until I was listening to Tooch.
I agree. Jay took a fucking beating when he was here.
Yeah.
And the Bears didn't support him either.
I respect Cutler. They didn't put nothing around him either.
I mean, Greg, I'm not calling out Greg. I don't want Greg to whip my ass, but Greg still thinks, and again, I'm taking Olin Kreutz's side of it, who was in the huddle, not saying that Greg doesn't know because Greg is connected, but Greg still thinks that Jay wasn't really hurt in the NFC Championship game. And that is still that's the Bears' fault. They should have come out immediately and said, this guy has a grade 2 tear of a ligament in his right knee or whatever. And, you know, and then to have people like that back in Jacksonville, that little short chubby guy, what was his name? He had like 4 names, going on NFL Network and saying that Jay was a bum and Jay wasn't really
Jones Drew.
Yeah, whatever. He was like 5'4", 290 or something, and he's telling us that Jay sucks and Jay wasn't really hurt. What would have been Jay's motive to not be hurt? Like he's like, you know what? This is the biggest game of my life, and I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Like he wouldn't have been afraid. Like why would he have sat out if he wasn't really hurt? That still gets to me.
I'm gonna have to call Nomad for some therapy, I guess.
Nomad, if you're listening.
I don't know if he'll take my call though.
No, but we
got other people in here saying, Jimmy, come on, stop it. Two touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns. I just have to read the NFL record again. That's a passing record. Okay. Where is it? Most consecutive games with 1 rushing and 1 passing touchdown. First player to rush for 140 yards and throw 3 touchdowns. These are passing records also. 100+ yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 rushing touchdowns in a single game. That's versus Don Burr's Lions. And 8 NFL records, only played 3 years in the league. Come on, nobody thinks that's incredible.
And he lost that game to Detroit because of a missed extra point. If you remember from our friend, what is it? Heidi calls him Papi Santos or something.
Papi Santos, yes.
Yeah.
No, I get you, man.
I'm on an island.
No, you're not on an island. I'm there with you, man. For real.
Mo Beerman, it's a combo stat. Come on. I got to open up his asshole and get inside there. Fuck.
Get in that ass, Larry. Don't worry.
Combo stat. Fuck. Haters will make excuses for anything. 8 NFL records in 3 years and they're still fucking hating. He sucked. It's like you guys aren't Bears fans. Fuck.
You guys in the chat, can you do us a favor and
Shut the fuck up. Oh, shut the
Oh,
fuck
God.
up. Oh, shut.
Yeah, the one that always gets me that is like my pet peeve, other than the anti-Cutler stuff, like with the knee and the championship game. I hate it when they're always like, yeah, if Kyle would have played the Super Bowl, we would have won. I'm like, dude, KO was the third stringer. Brian Greasy was back up. No one fucking remembers that. Like, if Rex doesn't play or he's benched, Greasy's in, not Orton. But people always say that on the chat room or Twitter or wherever the fuck else. People love Kyle Orton and his neck beard, but he was the third team quarterback, period.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. I don't think we should have made that trade for Jay Cutler. I would have.
A lot of people think Fields suck, but yeah, Caleb presents a better opportunity. That's what I said in there. To reset the contract clock. He's coming in throwing to two 1,200 plus receivers, plus Cole Kmet. He's got DeAndre Swift to hand off to. You know, he's coming. He comes in to drive a Porsche, whereas Fields got to drive Trubisky's hand-me-down fucking Camry. That's the difference. Ryan Poles is giving the kid a Porsche. It's like, you win a Porsche, you win a Porsche, you win a Porsche.
Zach Sullivan's right that Jim Miller 440 some yards was in 99 at home versus Minnesota.
And do you think that's an obscure record? One that, you know, when Jim Miller came in, I said, "Holy shit, we found our fucking franchise quarterback." And
I never said that.
And it's a 27-year-old pudgy guy.
I love Jim Miller's voice too. He sounds like a little bit like Chris Farley. You know,
I don't. I think he sounds like he has no bass in his voice at all, and he's so arrogant too.
He is arrogant. There's no doubt about it.
He's arrogant as fuck, man. But yeah, I rooted for him. I did.
I don't know. Is it though? The contract thing overrated?
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either. You got Braxton Jones on a rookie contract. Left tackle is a premier position in the NFL. They're usually paid almost as high as quarterbacks, left tackles. Right. You know, cornerbacks, you know, these guys are paid a lot, you know.
All great teams face being dismantled because at a certain point you can't pay all the high salaries. You know, that's why it's so hard to have a dynasty now. And what the Kansas City Chiefs have done by winning, 2 out of 3 Super Bowls is
back to back, going for a third because of the officials. But yeah.
Well, I didn't say that these teams don't need any help. They're going to have even more help.
It's gone, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Tuch, you can't give him that contract because he hadn't proved it yet, you know, but
right. Exactly. Jimmy is right. You know, you're not going to, you know, and who knows if you could have worked out a deal. Fields probably wanted, you know, he's got a tough agent. He probably would have wanted, you know, buku bucks, like $45 million in 2 years. And the way he played in his first 3 years, you can't say he delivers that value. Nope. So it's understandable. But the thing is,
how do you think he could have done this year with the team that Caleb Williams was
Exactly. I think at 3,000 yards rushing.
Keenan Allen and DJ Moore are going to make it awfully easy for Caleb Williams, man.
Yeah.
Those two guys get open a lot.
Yep. They get open with their eyes closed. There's no doubt about it. Those guys are good. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, you think Fields would have given the team a hometown discount after the jalopy that Poles put him in for 2 years? No.
Dan is taking a piss, so we can talk about him now.
Yeah.
What is it that you said about him? And he's got a small dick or something?
I love Danny. I love him so much.
All right. Yeah, so let me ask you this, Mr. Santucci. What do you think about the news? You think that Kevin Warren is playing Jedi tricks with Arlington Heights about moving to downtown Chicago?
Yep.
Why do you feel that?
I mean, he got a concession for on tax. A tax break, but it wasn't like a killer, you know, concession. So he probably went back and talked it over with the rest of the Bears. Grass was like, "Let me see if I can get some more out of them." You know, why not? You know, maybe you know, it doesn't help to put people competing for the business. You know.
Tuch, I'm on your side, but you can't win with these guys, compi. Do you know what compi means, Tuch?
Compañero?
Compadre. Short for Godfather. So you are a godfather. Well, I think you're right about that. I think that Kevin Warren is playing some mind tricks with Arlington Heights. I can't imagine they're going to walk away from that purchase of the 300 and some odd acres. They would fully own the stadium out in Arlington Heights, and there's just too much bullshit to go on in Chicago to actually pull off this deal.
Yeah, the whole thing is the lakefront. The lakefront setting. That's always going to be the allure. It's so beautiful that you have something on the lake with the lake as a backdrop. Why not? But I mean, when you think about it, I mean, they'll probably come back to Arlington Heights. Arlington Heights, they have enough. They have enough property there to put, like you said, multi-use. Dome, restaurants, maybe a casino, some hotels, bars, shopping.
A whole fucking city. Have you been to Lambeau Field in the last 4 years, 3
Never.
years?
I would love to.
They got this title town that's like a mall with the stadium and shops and restaurants and hotel rooms. It's fucking awesome. And Chicago doesn't have this. Warren was saying that, but it's not going to get done in Chicago. It's just not. I don't see it happening. But you never know. Maybe the new mayor is going to help facilitate things, but that's not going to make him popular with liberals in Chicago. Spending our tax money on the stadium.
The Bears.
Yeah, fuck that.
They always hated giving the Bears anything,
Yeah. I want to get onto the topic for
Bailey and the McCaskies, the war. Like you said, although when I remember, just like the Mayor Daley didn't want to do anything for the fucking Bears. It's like he hated the McCaskies. It's like an Irish feud.
Yeah. Dan is back. Dan, how was that piss?
It felt very, very good.
People in the chat, especially Mr. Shorty, are speculating that it could have been a number 2 and not a number 1.
Oh boy.
No, it's just on the other side of the building. No shitting. I would have admitted it.
I know you would have. You're very honest about things like that. Hey, guys, I wanted to play. I was listening to Chris Sims talk about Caleb Williams, and not all of us agree with Chris Sims in his evaluations, and sometimes he's right and sometimes he's wrong. But his evaluation of Caleb Williams, holy shit, really floored.
Slam dunk number 1, one of the most talented quarterbacks I've ever evaluated, one of the greatest throwers in college football history, and then he can play the position of quarterback. He has poise and patience in the pocket that is mature, way beyond his years as far as that's concerned, right? And, of course, like I talked about, maximizing plays, hitting all that's there to be had, the different arm angles, and the rare ability to see the rush, feel the rush, and still see down the field and continually make good decisions is off the charts good, okay? Slam dunk. Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams, number 13, coming to a theater near you, and they should be happy because they got a special guy. Ryan Poles, right, came from Kansas City. He's got guys like Patrick Mahomes dancing around in his head when he sleeps at night going, man, I need to find me one of those. He's fucking found it.
Wow.
I would be willing to suck
suck somebody's dick.
Yeah, why not? If it means a Super Bowl, if we fucking found our quarterback, why not?
People in the chat room, tell me, would you suck a man's dick if it ensured us getting to the Super Bowl and winning?
Not losing like 41.
I don't know. I don't think so.
If
I'd
you
rather
say
I'd
yes,
rather grow a beard.
and if you say yes, would you be willing to eat out his ass for 2 Super Bowls?
Oh God, no. I eat girl ass, but no guy's ass. That's terrible.
What was the Sam Kinison joke? How can you look at a hairy man's asshole and say I love you?
No, it was Dice Clay said, he's like, how could you look at another man's asshole and say I want to fuck it? Talking about how hairy it was.
What was that? That was the slide tackle or whatever, illegal
slide
tackle?
that hip drop hip tackle.
Yeah, the hip drop.
Yeah, that really fucked up Pollard, man. Big time.
Oh yeah. Pollard
this was
and
in college.
Mark Andrews.
How about Joe Theismann?
Yeah, that wasn't a hip drop. That was just assassination. That was
Holmes. Yep.
And of course, if it happens to Mahomes, they're going to change the rules. Yeah, this is the
God. The Mahomes play. I bet he'll still be milking that next season for sympathy, saying, "Oh, I got my ankle bent back 2 years ago. Every time I run, you have to talk about I had my ankle. I'm such a hero. I'm such a hero. God, I hate Patrick Mahomes.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see if you also grow hatred towards Caleb Williams because he's going to behave the same way, maybe worse.
We won't have a guy on all those commercials and shit being annoying, and
if you watch a college football game, Caleb is everywhere. He's doing fucking hamburger commercials for Wendy's. He's doing.
I don't watch college football.
I know. That's why I can say that lie. And
I watched a great game between Colorado and USC. Man, it was like 1,000 yards passing between those two teams.
Right.
You know, the commercials I always see when college football is on is just like, it's so bizarre. It's like, Dr. Pepper, the official drink of college football. Since when? Since like 2023?
Is this 88 Buckmeister's first time in the chat room today? It's like never seen this show before.
I talk about banging animals all the time. What are you talking about?
We do talk about everything, but man, we might as well talk some Caleb Williams, though, man. I like the kid. Like I said last week, he reminds me of Fran Tarkenton. I love Tarkenton. You know, I'm gonna love watching this kid.
Yes.
You know,
well, that's a great point because people are saying, and I've seen this backed up by some of the highlights and tape that I've seen, is that he scrambles. He's not looking to take off.
Yep. No.
Unlike Justin, he will scramble around looking for a receiver. I really like that characteristic about his game.
Yeah. Mark Schofield and Matt Waldman did a great podcast just on Caleb Williams, and they love him. And when I watched that, I was like, all right, yeah, you know, everything that they're saying, I'm seeing too, you know. They also brought up the Fran Tarkenton which I thought as well too. You know, him and Tarkenton about the same height that Caleb's maybe an inch or two taller. I love the way Caleb fights in the pocket. You know, he will run around sidestep. He'll still try to get back in the pocket and reset. You know, it buys a lot of time. We'll see how much he's going to have to get used to having less time in the pocket with the NFL athletes, the pass rush. You know, the Bears offensive line is still, I still don't know about the Bears offensive line. You know, we have question at center. We got like 3 guys maybe trying out for center. We got Tevin Jenkins at guard that may or may not be there a full season. You got Nate Davis, who may or may not be there a full season for whatever reasons. I'd love to see the Bears draft some interior offensive linemen in this, but with 4 draft picks, it's going to be hard. I mean, with picks 1 and 9, I heard you guys talking earlier. I think you have to get a couple blue chip players. You're going to get 1 at 1, and then at 9, if you don't get
Dallas Turner or one of those receivers is what
I like.
thinking.
I like Jared Verse. He's got a big size. He's got a lot more strength. Jared Verse is gonna be a decent too. You know, I'll be happy with either one, but I think Jared Verse is probably my number one guy. I love Latu as well, but you know, he's not as strong or as good against the run as Verse. Verse does it all. The kid's good, man. I would, if you could trade from 9 to say 12, pick up a couple extra picks or one a second round pick or something, try and make some noise down there. I wouldn't spend it on a wide receiver, even though I love all 3 up there. Malik Neighbors is probably the best route runner in this draft, him and Harrison. Malik Neighbors got a tremendous run after the catch ability. Who was that? Jared Verse? Yeah, Jared Verse would be my pick. So, like I said last week, the Texans picked C.J. Stroud. Then they traded right back up. They took Will Anderson, and those 2 players were offensive and defensive rookies of the year. I'd love to see that with Caleb and Jared Verse. And then, you know, with 75, or what if you pick up something else? Maybe 9. Someone wants one of the quarterbacks, like Jaden Daniels falls down to 9.
Yeah. Or J.J. McCarthy.
J.J. McCarthy's going to be probably. I don't think he gets past the Patriots. It seems like a Patriots quarterback.
Really?
I love JJ, man. JJ makes the right decision almost every time. He didn't throw a lot at Michigan, so people don't know, you know, but he reads the defense so well. He understands coverages so well. He can throw the ball. He can move around. He buys times in the pocket. Baralissimo posted some good tape of an explanation of JJ. And, you know who loves JJ is your guy, Jordan Silvera. I know He's no longer a Bears fan. So
that's right. Breaking news. Did you hear this, Dan Aguirre?
No, but I called this. Who's he like? Green Bay?
No, I don't know.
Probably. I don't know. He hasn't announced.
Is this true?
Yeah, he's no longer.
He could just be looking for clicks.
Could be satire.
Oh, I called this. I fucking called this.
But Jaden Daniels maybe is there at 9 for somebody. Maybe someone doesn't like Drake May as much and he falls. I don't know. But JJ is going to go a lot higher than people think. That's my main thing.
There's word that JJ might be picked before Drake even.
Yeah.
So,
yep. I say he's awful smart with the football, man. Mm-hmm. He's awful smart, man. He's like Brady smart. The guy that just knows where to go, knows where everyone's got to be, knows what the defense is doing. Don't
even start, Tooch. You're making me nervous. JJ McCarthy is going to be the next Tom Brady, and Caleb Williams is going to be the next Jamarcus Russell.
Oh God.
Peak Bears. That would be peak Bears.
Yeah, and Justin Fields will go on to play.
Caleb Williams will be fine. He'll be fine. He's got enough talent if he gets good coaching. It's a Shane Waldron. Got to put a little bit of faith in Shane Waldron to get Caleb up to speed on all this. But yeah, Caleb's gonna run around. He's gonna make a lot of plays with that arm and buying time, and yeah.
Berlissimo put out a tweet that shows some of Caleb's abilities. Everyone knows that young quarterbacks make mistakes, but he has some great tools and ability to process what's in front of him. Yeah, Berlissimo. I'll look for that and share it.
Oh yeah.
He says it's about a minute and a half.
Yeah, it's short.
I can use it, Berlissimo.
Yeah, it's on his feed, his X feed.
See what we can do here.
75.
Ryan,
I would try and take someone like I try and get Jerry Rice's kid because he played with Caleb and just kind of groom him behind Keenan Allen. Mm-hmm. You could probably get him at 75 or what's our next one after that, 122. I don't think he'll be there for 122 though. But
Dan, your thoughts?
Well, again, I don't watch enough college football, but the name Jerry Rice's son immediately sticks out. I'm like, oh, Jerry Rice's son. Okay, yeah, you can't go wrong with that pedigree, you would think.
Caleb Williams, #1 guy in USC.
Unless he's like Pete Rose Jr. or something.
Excellent.
Yeah, because there's only really been 2 guys or 3 that have surpassed their dads. Ken Griffey Jr., Barry Bonds, and Steph Curry.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of the time the dad is better.
I agree.
Yeah. What was that? What was the guy that was the game show host and then his son played for the Cubs?
Lecoq.
Peter something and Peter Lecoq. Yeah. What was the dad's name? He had a different name.
Peter Marshall.
Peter Marshall. When I was a kid, I was like, why isn't his name Marshall too? He's got a shitty name like Lecoq.
Lecoq.
Did you know that baseball player, Dan?
I did not. I don't remember when was that? What year was that?
This was
77, 76, 78.
How many suck Lecoq jokes were there made?
No, I was making them when I was a little kid for sure.
He was Peter Marshall. Peter Marshall was the game show host from Hollywood Squares.
Hollywood Squares, yeah.
Yes. And his son, Peter Lecoq,
played for the Cubs. Yep.
It sounds like you're saying pee on my cock.
I've never done that.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, well, I don't know, Christian. That's a good comp, but I mean, Ed did win 3 Super Bowls and was a really solid receiver. So I don't know.
Yeah, how many Super Bowls does Christian McCaffrey have?
He almost won 1.
Yeah.
He would have been MVP if they'd have won 2.
Yeah.
That was the thing I kept saying during the game, man. They went like a whole quarter without running him for like no reason whatsoever. Like it's working, but you know what? Let's just keep passing every play. Every play.
This is Berlissimo's report on Caleb Williams.
Oh, yeah. This is a good one, man.
Technical difficulties.
Can you see it?
No, it just says click here. It's not playing.
Exit full screen. There you go. Okay.
I can't hear it or see it. So.
Better now?
We can see it, but we can't hear it, though.
Oh, fuck. Sorry.
Yeah, he's got a lot of good video and explanation to go with it for a lot of these quarterbacks.
All right. Sorry about that. Go to @Bellissimo #1. Yeah, I hit. Did you share audio? That's the weird thing. We try one more time, guys. Be patient with me. We can take care of this in post, right, Tooch? Let me remove
It says
it.
reshare the screen, but share audio. I don't know how to do that.
Let's see.
What's up, George? It's good to see you with us 5 hours in the future.
Yeah, it's like 4 a.m. over there.
Share order.
He must have had to get up to pee.
Oh, I see why it's not working. Give me a minute here and I'll fix it. I was going to a different operating system, so I've got to go put it up on Chrome. All right. So, you hear it now, right?
No, you don't.
Really?
You have.
There you go.
See what we got next.
I hear it now.
Again,
Yes.
If we're saying just off of looks, middle of the field is going to be open. Again, in terms of leverage from the cornerbacks, they are slightly inward facing, but they're all facing in. This is clearly the way they touch inwards and facing in. You're looking at your pre-snap information. So you got 3 to this side, 3 by 2, obviously wide side of the field with your 3. What do you have over the top? Well, you have, an in leverage with an outside over the top. So what you're going to get is like some sort of leverage-based coverage on these 2. One over the top there, one over the top there. This is far more likely to be man. This is far more likely to be, outside flat, over the top, anything that comes inside yours. So that's probably what it's going to be. So he's going to sit here. He's going to come here. That's deep. This guy's kind of looking in here. That's what we're likely to see on the coverage. It's empty, so no threat of the run other than quarterbacks. Let's see what we get. Again, looking very early, he's got bubble, he's got slant, kind of slant, and he's going to get, because again, this is the leverage defenders. This is the defender who's reading 1. That's the defender who's reading 2. It's the right side read. So it's half field read. You got the hitch here, and to me, you've got this guy going to be coming in here, middle of the field open. It's cover 2. He is open. He's seen it. You see he's seen it.
Nice.
So we have seen it this time, and we're going to get a touchdown. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there it is. Boop. Yeah, decent ball. Yeah, nice pace on that. That's a pretty good read.
Plant that foot and fire. I love that. It's interesting that.
So again,
let me let him finish here. I guess he's done. It's interesting that the English version. Where are you, Tooch? There you are. It's interesting that the English version of John Madden sounds so erudite, and his illustrated work is so precise and perfect. John Madden, the crazy American. But George Bayless, a.k.a. Bellissimo, very nice. Very nicely done.
Yeah, this JJ is very well explained as well, too.
Can't wait. JJ McCarthy is supposed to be Greg Gabriel's guest in a week or two. We got a commitment from his agent. Yeah. So hopefully we'll
should play that tape that George put up there and ask him about it. He hits Roman Wilson in a deep corner.
Okay, I might do that.
Read the correct read.
I might do that. Who's a big fan of JJ McCarthy? Jordan Silvera. He wants to be on that show.
I am too. I love JJ as well. I think JJ is.
I can tell.
One B in this draft.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's switch our attention here with these last 30 minutes to talk about some of the pop culture stuff. Dan, the reason I loaded those clips from Leon from Curb Your Enthusiasm is you read an interesting story about how Leon joined the show. It was season 6, I want to say. Of
It was.
How did that all come about?
In the script, he was still married to Cheryl at the time in the show. Of course, he was never married, but to her. But he was going through a divorce in real life, so he wrote it into the show as well. And so it was a little late, but it was after Hurricane Katrina. And so they took in a displaced home from Louisiana and brought them to California because, Cheryl was, someone that cared about charity and things like that, and brought in a whole family. And then Leon, who was living in California, just shows up. He's like, well, my family's here. They're like, were you displaced by it? He's like, nah, I live in Santa Monica or whatever the fucking. He just shows up. And in one of the funny episodes early on is Cheryl says that she went into Leon's room and found cum on his covers. And it makes Larry confront him. And he's like, ejaculate. What's ejaculate? He's like, ejaculate. He's like, ejaculate. I don't know. Leon's like, what? He's like, and then he's like, that's not my cum, Larry. And it turns out at the end of the episode, it was actually Jeff's cum. And it's so funny. He goes, yeah. He's like, we were at your house for Passover, and it just got hard, so I just figured I'd go take care of it. And they're like, so you went and beat off came on the covers, and Jeff was like, yeah. But Cheryl thinks it's Leon who came on the covers, which was absolutely hilarious. And Leon was like, no, he was like, Larry, I guess I throw the heat to the ladies, Larry.
One of the things I love about the character is he comes up with these incredible ideas. In a recent show, he talks about, I got an idea. And what about a car that runs on piss? So you just pull over to the side, take your dick out, and put it in the car, and you piss. But first, you got to drink a Gatorade, you got to drink water, you got to drink coffee, you got to really load up, and then you put your dick in that, and then you just run, and we call it a pisser. I forgot. I'm blowing the punchline there, but not Prius, but pisser.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. That guy is brilliant, and it's all ad lib. They set up the scenario. He said in an article that I read, Dan, that the first few seasons, he would show up without even looking at the outline. He would go to the director, okay, what are we doing today? And the director was like, how come you didn't look at the outline? He goes, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to have the outline and then think about it for a week. I'm here. Tell me what we're doing, and I'll go. And that guy is fucking brilliant. He is brilliant.
He is. He was a scene stiller throughout the early portions. He was not, a permanent cast member at the time. Again, Larry got with in one of the funniest parts too. Again, I don't want to sound prejudiced here, but Leon's name on the show is Leon Black. And Larry was dating Vivica A. Fox's character. And for Christmas at the end of season 6, it says, as a Christmas card, it says, Merry Christmas from Larry and the Blacks. It's so fucking funny. Yeah, but in typical Larry fashion, in season 7, they say that she's gotten cancer, and he's like, I can't stay with a woman who's got cancer. He's like, I got to find a way to get away from her. And then, so they all leave, and Leon just stays, and Leon has never left. He just still stays in Larry's crib.
That is so awesome.
Now step out the asshole. Step out. Don't even close that motherfucker. Leave it open so you know you've been there.
I love this the episode earlier in the season when he was fucking that girl, and the coyote was supposed to be eating her dog, and she's like, what's that noise? He's like, I didn't hear a motherfucking thing, and just kept fucking when it went off.
I've actually, since you got me back into the show, I've gone back and I watched all of season 2 and a portion of season 3. I want to get.
Oh, would you see the doll?
Yeah, I saw the doll.
Yeah, in season 3, ironically, you mentioned that the stuff at the end of the season when Larry gets Cheryl's pubic hair stuck in his throat because Crazy Eyes Killer, who's dating Wanda Sykes on the show, Crazy Eyes Killer talks him into eating Cheryl. He's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't like to put in that effort, and then he does it and gets a pubic hair stuck in his throat for like 3 episodes. But JB Smoove, who plays Leon, said that he loved that and was like, this is my favorite show ever because of that season. And again, ironically, he was looking back on it saying, I was such a big fan. Who would have ever thought I'd actually be on the show?
Yeah. It's amazing that he got on that show and he's been so good. And I think HBO would be committing a criminal offense if they don't think of a spinoff for him, because he's got a lot more great material. And I'd be interested to see if he can carry an entire show. But I got to believe that with some good writers and good cast, that could be a hit show for HBO.
I would hope that he could use Leon too some other way.
Yeah. How is that show doing in the ratings this season, which they've said is their final season? Do you know, Dan?
I don't know, but you've got the guy that played Super Dave. What's his name? Something Einstein. He played
that's his name. Right.
Yeah, he died.
Brooks' brother.
Yeah.
Right. He died, and now you got Lewis that's died. I think it's time when your cast members are just perishing right in front of you,
Yeah. Well, and Lewis died just a couple of weeks ago, but in the announcement,
the episode with the car this week was great. Did you like it? I loved it.
Yeah, I liked it.
I was shocked by how old Steve Buscemi looked.
Oh my God. It happens right away, man. I'm telling you. I lost my hair like in 3 weeks.
Steve Buscemi went from he's like 51 to like 82 in like 3 months. He looked terrible in that episode. God damn, he's about to die too.
But what a great premise. Richard Lewis brings Larry to him to check out this old vintage Mercedes-Benz and says, I want you to,
I can't smell because of COVID.
Exactly. Richard Lewis can't smell, but so Larry says, yeah, it's got an odor. There was a smoker here. And so he doesn't buy the car. Richard Lewis doesn't buy the car, but Larry David ends up buying the car because he's guilty that he thought
Buscemi had a colostomy bag,
right?
And made a joke. He's like, "It could be worse. You could have a colostomy bag," and he thought that he actually had the colostomy bag. He's like, "So God, now I've got to buy the car to make up for my fucking flipping remark."
Yeah.
And then Lewis was like, "You son of a bitch! You bought that car from under me." Oh, it's so good. It's so fucking good.
And then the final scene, Richard Lewis gets the car back, but he goes, who was it? Somebody threw up in the backseat of the car. What was it? Where was the vomit from? Do you remember?
No, that was the cheese that was in the back.
Oh, the cheese. That's right.
Yeah, because remember, he bought the cheese, and then Susie and them ate the cheese. And then he bought it again, but he forgot it in the car, and that cheese smell was in there. And the girl, Richard, goes to pick up a date, and she gets in the car, and she's like, "God damn, what's that smell?" And leaves.
she just flies out of it.
Oh, it's so good.
Fucking smell. Dude, what have you seen that you like and want to share with your immense following?
Yeah, well, I've been house hunting, obviously, until last Saturday when we found, our house. And, the market's tough, so we're like putting in bids and getting, missing out too late or overbid and stuff like that. And finally got the right one where our agent knew the listing agent, so they, done some deals together, got us in there, and hadn't had a lot of time for watching TV, but
Zach says that's no excuse.
No excuse. So, but I did start watching a TV show that I'm pretty blown away by. It's called 3 Body Problem. It's on Netflix. It's by the Benioff and Weiss who did Game of Thrones. It's got some Game of Thrones guys in there, and it's really cool, man. It's kind of a bunch of storylines. It takes place back in the 60s in communist China and in current day, and back in communist China, there's a daughter who witnesses her father killed by the CCP, and she gets put in a communist work camp, and she's taken away from there to work on a special science experiment with a radar that she thought was for targeting missiles, but it was for communicating in deep space with whoever's out there, whatever. other life and far out in the universe. And in current day, there's a police inspector in London who's played by Benedict Wong, who's a really good actor as well. He's been in a ton of movies. And he's investigating the suicides or deaths of physicists who have been dying under mysterious circumstances, some of them seeing a timer, a countdown of their life. They're running out of time. Mm-hmm. And there's the Oxford 5 young kids who worked at Oxford in the physics department. One of them is a girl who's doing a nanofiber experiments. The others are physicists, but they all find accidentally, or a couple of them find this game called Three Body Problem. It's a virtual reality video game with like alien technology, and their goal in this is to solve the riddle of the universe. And the video game is weird as shit. It's like Existence, that David Cronenberg movie.
Yeah.
So some of these physicists are dying of their group of 5. Benedict Wong's trying to solve it, and it's been great. It's a mystery, like with some futuristic elements to it, and I didn't think I would like it, but ended up getting sucked into it. So it's very well done.
Is Chairman Mao in this?
This is like post Mao, communist, when they took over that whatever. The Chinese Communist Party came into power post Mao. It's right at that point, the Red Color Revolution. But yeah, it's really, really good, man. So I'm excited to see where it goes. But I also want to see that the Roadhouse remake. I wanted to watch that. I haven't seen it yet, though.
I didn't like the first Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze.
I always wondered what was the big deal
80s.
about that.
Classic.
Yeah, it is a classic kind of 80s era movie.
Yeah, 80s
but
era
I didn't think it was particularly good.
No. I didn't like the Tom Cruise movie Cocktail either, where he's like a bartender or something.
Mm-hmm. I'd like that one a little bit better than Roadhouse, but not much.
Muck's right there with me. I know it's good, man. It's intense, man. I had to watch episode 1 twice because it was you miss so much. There's a lot going on.
Yeah,
they're twisting storylines, intertwining storylines and stuff. The women are hot too in it, Dan.
Getting back to Roadhouse and Cocktail, who was the female lead in Roadhouse, the tall blonde?
God, I don't remember. I haven't watched that since like 92, and I remember hating it.
Name? I don't remember.
See, but what I was going to say
I'll look it up.
The chick in Cocktail, who was the girlfriend in the Karate Kid.
I don't remember that.
Elizabeth Shue.
Elizabeth Shue. Now
Is she
holy
in Roadhouse,
cow.
the first one?
No, she's in Cocktail.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, she
The
played
first Roadhouse is Kelly Lynch.
Yes,
Kelly Lynch.
John Travolta's beautiful, beautiful woman. But if I had
She
to
passed
choose-
away, right?
Yeah, she had I think cancer. She passed away. Indeed.
Yeah,
Kelly Lynch.
terrible.
Thank you, Zach.
Jake Gyllenhaal has been like doing some martial arts for this movie, I assume. The remake.
I heard him on Stern the other day. I don't know. It was cool to hear him talk about past experiences on other movies. Like he was mentioning like working with Downey on Zodiac, but I know that he was there for Roadhouse, but I didn't hear him talk about his workout regimen. I didn't listen to the whole interview, but he was on
Kelly
Stern
Preston
recently.
was in which one though?
Yeah, he's saying Kelly Preston was the one who was with Travolta, I think, not Kelly Lynch.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay,
Gotcha.
There, did you guys see The Green Knight?
No, I've been wanting to see that. That's the one with the poster with the guy in like a armored thing on a horse.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Dev Patel is like kind of his breakout movie.
Yeah,
and it's really kind of wild. I mean, it's like trippy, magical fantasy with some sword fighting, bloodshed. But that dude Dev Patel, he's got like a John Wick movie coming out. Like he's made himself into the action hero. That's how you do it. You make yourself into the action hero.
That's where the money is.
Ryan Pohl's diet and start working out, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, he's lost some weight. I mean, he used to, not to say he was fat. I'm just saying he's lost a lot of weight, like at least 30 pounds of fat, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, here goes a fun fact I've been meaning to mention to you, Aldo. I saw like 2 weeks ago. Anthony Perkins his wife was on one of the flights on 9/11 that literally went into the towers.
Wow.
Are
I didn't
you
know that.
kidding me?
No,
Anthony
no.
Perkins? The guy from Psycho?
Yeah, because they were saying that they were like it was a convenience marriage because it was intimating that he died of HIV or AIDS and that he was really gay. But they're saying she was so loyal to him that she was still married to him until her death. Oh, by the way, on 9/11 in one of the towers.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was like, man, I got to tell Aldo about this, but I keep forgetting about it until now when it makes no sense for me to bring it up.
A nice non sequitur,
Yeah, well, it was a fun fact or not so fun fact.
Yeah, I heard rumors that he was gay and that, a lot of these Hollywood actors were set up with fake marriages, to deal with the, people's biases. But
that was a wild time, like 50s and 60s on some of the TV shows. The husband and wife would sleep in twin beds, like separated.
Yeah. And if you were going to sit on the same bed, you had to have at least 1 foot on the floor. It's like, what the fuck? What are we doing here?
That's when you said you're in the family way. Instead of saying this bitch is pregnant.
Yeah.
My wife and I have been watching TV together for the last week or so, and so I try to cater to her taste. I go on Netflix, and the guy that does the Law and Order shows is doing a real life documentary called Homicide, and they talk to real New York cops about some of the famous murders and cases and so forth. And it's really well done, very creatively shot. Yeah, I recommend it. We did a binge. It's only 4 or 5 episodes. We did a binge on them.
It's on Max or HBO Max.
It's on Netflix.
Oh, Netflix. Okay.
Yeah.
My wife loves those.
Yeah, my wife is addicted to crime shit, man.
Yeah,
I got a feeling if something happens to me, Dan, question my wife, please.
Although don't kill himself. I repeat, I'm not suicidal.
You know what not to again change the subject, you know what I think I'm about to do? I've had HBO since Reagan was president. For real. After Curb ends, I think I'm canceling HBO or HBO Max in 2 weeks, and I'm gonna probably drop my DirecTV and get the YouTube TV.
Yeah, I think that's.
I can save $100 a month. It's kind of hard not to.
Yeah.
Just get real streams. You get all the channels. It's $11 a month.
Well, I got to have YouTube TV I'll save $100 for Sunday Ticket that way too.
Yeah.
Real streams.
Well, I'm really disappointed. Like, I love the DirecTV service, and I've had it so long. I've had it since W was president, or maybe Clinton, the tail end of Clinton's run. It was that year though, with the hanging chads and all that shit in 2000. But Clinton was still president. But anyway, I've had Sunday Ticket since 2000 and DirecTV. Yeah. So yeah, I don't want to let it go, but it's just I'm saving $100 a month. If I go to YouTube TV, it's hard to turn that down, man.
You could probably know every button on that controller with your eyes closed, right?
Well, they've changed the remotes over the years, but yeah, your point is true. Like I'm gonna miss it, but it's hard to turn that down. Like the amount of money like you're gonna save. And our guy Jay Bonds, he went to YouTube TV last season when Sunday Ticket went to it, and he said that it's been flawless. Like. His local TV channels, all the stuff works fine.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that it's working fine. So if you've got a good Wi-Fi connection in your home, then it should work fine, because from their end, they've invested a lot of capital to avoid streaming issues from their end. Now, every once in a while, shit happens, just like it does on broadcast TV, whether it's over the air or cable or what happens. But for the most part, the streaming issues that we witnessed, not too long ago, those have been eradicated. It's not bad.
Thank God.
All the HBO live on real streams, all the NFL games live. I've been watching.
That's true.
True TV. I was watching basketball tournament.
Well, there's a couple channels I want to maintain. I can do that with YouTube. I can keep Turner Classic Movies. I can keep MTV Classic with music videos, which I still like. And I can, not to start politics, but I can at least watch MSNBC if I need to. Thankfully, they made a big firing today, but we won't talk about that.
Oh, why not? Rona, what's her name? Rona Mitchell?
Yeah.
She was the head of the RNC and for 2 or 3 years, and Trump forces her out, and NBC and MSNBC hire her to be a political consultant, and everybody, especially over at MSNBC, just how can you do this? She lied.
Let's not talk about it. Tooch was already upset enough earlier.
Fucking Aldo. Why'd you have to bring this up? All right, we won't talk about it. But I thought it was an interesting story. And so,
so to try to say it non-politically as possible, real quick, not to interrupt your summary of it, a lot of people, even like Chuck Todd, who never really makes a stand on anything, was like, man, how could they hire this bitch? I mean, she was saying that the election was stolen. I don't want to say that, don't want to argue about that, but most people on that network don't agree with that assessment, and they find it to be a little, I mean, not even the Republicans, like what's the show in the morning? Morning Joe.
Yeah, with Joe Scarborough.
Anyway, bottom line is there was some outrage and they fired the lady today. That was breaking news.
Oh, it's interesting. So even Morning Joe was upset about it, huh?
Oh, yeah. It was, Morning Joe was, I think back in the day sort of liked Trump, but after 2020, he's off the tracks with Trump.
When Trump first started running, he would interview him every morning. And then finally they got into some rift, and Trump, of course, made some crack about his wife who was on the show with him, Mika Brzezinski.
You know who her dad was?
Yeah, that's Zbigniew Brzezinski.
It worked for Carter.
All right. So he made some crack about her, and so Joe said, all right, fucking gloves are off. He fucking goes after Trump left and right, and Trump goes after him. It's kind of fun to watch, except they're adults. Anyway, guys, let's start wrapping things up. This is my third show, so I'm running out of gas.
Watching the Indiana State-Cincinnati game, and it looks like Indiana State will win by 4 at Indiana State minus 3.5, so I'm on the right side of that one.
Oh, let's hold on. How much time left?
1 second.
1 second.
I will ask you all a question then, because I didn't read the article. I saw Rolling Stone had an article saying this could be the scandal that ruins the NCAA forever. What the fuck are they talking about?
Was it the betting one?
What is it?
I'm sure it's something to do with betting, but in reference to the Dodgers guy and the interpreter.
Shohei Ohtani and the
interpreter. Yeah, but they were saying the NCAA, this could bring down the NCAA forever. This could be the biggest scandal ever. I'm like, God, what the fuck is it?
I don't know.
I can't remember that.
It was Rolling Stone who shared it.
We're talking about this as well, too. We talked about it on the show in the past. I just can't remember which. Because there's been others, there were Iowa State players who missed the whole season for football.
To me, college sports killed itself when, they started, like with the Stanford's going to have to come to the East Coast for a conference matchup. That's the end of college football.
This is from Rolling Stone. In reporting my forthcoming book on corruption in college sports, which is named Hot Dog Money, I discovered an unexpected reason that the NCAA may soon be undone, and it probably isn't what you think. Let me explain. December 9th, 2019, a Pittsburgh businessman named Marty Blazer was asked to tell a story to a group of NCAA officials in charge of enforcing the rules of the amateur system. For the prior 5 years, Blazer has been undercover operative for the federal government in a sweeping investigation of corruption in college sports. Holy shit. This was reported 3 days ago. The book is coming out next week, I believe.
Nice.
And Jim Harbaugh, here's your headline. Jim Harbaugh admits Bears got the better end of the trade with Keenan Allen.
Well, thank you, Jimmy Harbaugh. What was that you just had up on the screen?
Next season, Bears wins over 8.5 at minus 135 means they think we'll win 9 or more.
Okay, so tell me how this works again. You bet $100 on 135. What do you win?
You bet 135, you'll win 100.
Okay.
If on the other side, if you take the under at plus 115, you bet 100, you win 115.
Jeez. Would you bet on that over, Dan Aguirre?
I don't bet, but 8.5 still sounds like, goddamn, when do we ever get to 10 wins again?
I think 9 wins is doable. The schedule comes out, tomorrow?
Does it? No.
It comes out after the draft now, doesn't it?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it does.
Schedule will be coming out soon. I mean, we know who's playing or who we're playing, right?
Right.
We know
don't
that,
know
but
what
the
date.
dates come out late now. They used to come out early April, but now they come out in like the week after the draft, on a Thursday after the draft, the next week.
I'll take.
So
I think they get to 9.
Yeah, I think so too.
You
They
know,
have to.
I think we beat. The
If we only get 9 wins, we're probably not going to make the playoffs again.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. I thought this was the year we were making the playoffs regardless. Like
9 or more, though. I mean, you could get more, you know, but
D. Starren asked a good question.
I
Were
don't
those
know.
odds
I think it
before?
just came out, though. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also have this top 30 visits tracker. So people who have come to House Hall who
will be very soon.
Or will be. Yep, or
Right.
will be. I think that Kieran Amagaji, he's from Hinsdale Central High School or Hinsdale South. One of those. He's a local kid.
Big tackle out of Yale. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, let me tell you what I know about these guys. You know, Dallas Turner is my guy. That's the pass rusher, speed pass rusher. I liked him better than Tooch because I think that this guy would be a perfect complement for Montez. The tackle from Yale is a big body guy, super smart. I think this is the guy that can write with his left hand and write with his right hand, but at the same time, 2 different things.
Wow.
This guy is considered a genius. I'm pretty sure it's him. And then Dylan Lobb, Danny Shimon tells me, although I know you've been eyeing a running back on day 3, this kid is a speedster. He's got some wheels on him. Zach Frazier, probably the 2nd or 3rd best tight end. Brock Bowers, everybody knows
he's a center of Frazier.
Yeah, Frazier's the center, right?
He's good.
And Brock Bowers is the tight end that everybody thinks is going to be the next coming of Jesus Christ.
He's really interesting. He's always injured, though.
Yeah, you know, I saw a picture of him standing next to Rob Gronkowski, and I was like, Gronkowski can easily beat this motherfucker's ass. I mean, he's taller, bigger, stronger. And then this Nehemiah guy, I don't know anything about him.
He's a stud, man.
Yeah, is
good. Yep. Speedy cornerback.
Well, gentlemen, I have to leave.
So do I. Man, I hate this.
But next week, again, we'll have the lady on. There's only one thing that she was texting me earlier that she doesn't want to talk about on air yet, and I told her you could talk to her before we go on next week, and that wouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
So, but eating pussy and threesomes and all that, she was down. So,
and so am I. All right, Dan Aguirre, Sandy Santucci. For my 2 cohorts, my name is Aldo Gandia. Make sure you follow John Santucci on the X Machine at John Santucci VIP.
Weekend sports betting tips.
This Friday, 7:00. Or are you doing Thursday?
We might do Thursday and Friday just because of Sweet 16.
Okay.
So, love, man, college basketball is so exciting right now. It's like there's some great games, man.
Money.
Okay. I mean, last weekend did real good because it was, I forget, it was like Saturday. I think 4 favorites were 4-1. So, I mean, I cleaned up. Yeah.
And Dan just signed off. Dan Aguirre, you can follow him at BearsFan_Dan. That is our show for tonight. Thank you for everyone in the chat room. You're a big part of the show. Really enjoyed the interaction. Johnny Santucci especially loves Amy and Bethany McDonald.
Ronald McDonald.
We really do appreciate it.
Not a very smart person. Maybe dropped on his head as a baby.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
Good night.
All right, fuck this.